distance from their teams, just them and their thoughts. Strategic chess. A recent draw set the initial rules for this confrontation. Donald Trump, who won the draw, chose the right to make the final closing statement, a significant advantage in such a tense event. Kamala Harris chose the right podium, positioning herself to the left of the viewer screen. These seemingly minor details can play a significant role in how their performances are perceived by viewers. Kamala Harris, tomorrow's leader. Today, Kamala Harris steps onto the stage to prove her readiness for leadership. This is her chance to demonstrate firm stances, competence, and commitment to progressive changes. Each of her words will be aimed at showing voters confidence in the future she intends to govern. Her main task is to convince the nation that her experience as vice president and her vision for America can lead the country to success. Donald Trump, returning to politics. For Trump, this is a return to a familiar arena.
I'm fired up.
He uses today's meeting to remind people of his achievements during his previous term and to present his vision for the future. For him, these debates are an opportunity to regain support from those who remember him as a strong leader capable of making tough decisions.
Beijing Biden owes me gas money.
Using his political
Trump
skills
mania
to
running
dominate
wild
the stage
brother
and
USA.
steer the discussion according to his scenario. Debates as an opportunity to change the campaign course. These debates are not just a verbal duel. They offer a chance to see the candidates
Trump
under extreme
2024
conditions,
send them back.
where every answer and argument
Hello,
could play a
Trump
decisive role in the
2024.
upcoming elections. Voters will get a chance to see which of the two leaders handles
Kamala
pressure
owes me
better,
a lot of money.
is confident in their course, and is capable of leading the country forward. Every word will be dissected, and any slip could alter the perception of the candidates by millions of viewers. Conclusion. The moment of truth.
Big up
This
Dawson
evening
Grandma
will be a
hand
turning
pink waving.
point for the entire country.
Brett will be
Today,
here soon to
the
spread his
candidates will show
bullshit.
their
Get ready.
true selves, without
Deport the
pretense or
commies killing
preparation.
our pets.
Every minute on stage
Yo,
will be
yo,
a
yo.
test of resilience, leadership qualities, and the ability to take responsibility. This event will be long discussed as it decides who among them can lead the country forward. The world is watching this meeting, and tonight, a new chapter in U.S. political history is being written. Who will win over the voters?
Ron returns
Today
from the
marks
dead row
a pivotal
flow.
moment in American politics.
Quack hand pink
Vice
waving face
President
blue
Kamala
smiling.
Harris and former President
Trump
Donald
2020.
Trump will meet face-to-face for the first time this year at the presidential
2020.
debates held at the National Constitution Center in Philadelphia. This event is not just an exchange of opinions. but
This
a
should be
moment that
good.
could change the course of the campaign.
This
Millions of
battle
viewers
should be
worldwide
good.
will be watching
Got a
every
bit of time
response,
going on here,
every
57
look,
minutes
and
until it
every
starts.
gesture.
Trump
A venue of
2024.
significance.
Let's go.
Hi,
The
smooth
National
operator.
Constitution
Smooth
Center,
operator.
I
a
Okay,
came
good to
from
see
the dead
everyone
for
in
this.
there.
LOL.
becomes the
So many good
arena
people.
for this
Dash and
historic
Grandma.
clash. There are no spectators
Coming
in, the
in
hall,
there.
only silence.
This should be
Minions
dumb.
and Muscle.
LOL.
every corner.
Smooth
The
operator.
debates will be
Ron
moderated
Volts,
by
good to see
seasoned
you. Quack
journalists
13.
David Muir and
Monica
Lindsay Davis, who will
Loba.
guide the dialogue, ensuring strict adherence to all rules.
Lobosh.
Tonight is not just a
maybe.
political event,
Sean
but
Little.
a moment that could define
Mega,
the
mega,
country's
mega.
future. An equitable duel.
Mega from Smooth Operator. Smooth Operator, good to
Debates
see
are
you.
conducted
Yes,
You're
Mo
making the
Cat, I
rounds
have
there.
risen.
rules.
You're like on a
The
lot of my
people push
channels that
abortion
I watch
are the
there.
ones
You're
that were born.
starting to
There are
migrate
opening
to.
statements. Straight into battle.
Which
Start
that's good.
with
That's a
questions.
lot of the people that I
Each
don't come over
participant
here,
has
you know,
2
so you
minutes
can
to
check out their
respond,
channel, and then when they
for
go live,
rebuttals, and a minute for
He has risen.
check them out. This
Microphone
should be
only
good,
action.
though.
Tommy,
I've been
hope you are
waiting.
doing good.
Interruptions,
I've been waiting for this,
disturbances in the flow of discussion.
action to
Harris
happen,
and
this
Trump
battle
will stand
match
behind identical
between
podiums with
Kamala
just a pen,
and Trump.
notepad, and
I
bottle
don't
of
know if
water.
I should have the
No prompts,
should I
notes,
leave
or
the
assistance from
chat
teams.
on while this plays,
the
or should I silence the chat?
Strategic chess.
What do you think?
A recent draw set the initial rules for this
Praise naked
confrontation.
baby Jesus.
Donald Trump, who won the draw, chose the right to make the
Getting
final
some breakup
statement.
on this too
A
here.
significant
Kamala career ends tonight.
tense event.
At
Kamala
least this
Harris
debate
chose
1T
the right
devolved to golf talk.
positioning
Kamala
herself to
only
the
knows
left
about
of
another
the
kind of ball.
These seemingly
This
minor
should be a true
details can play
dumpster match.
significant role in how the
Can you shut that voice
performances are
off?
perceived by viewers.
Silence.
Yeah.
Kamala Harris,
Do a
tomorrow's
poll,
leader.
Tommy.
Today, Kamala Harris steps
Yes,
to the
it's very
stage to
choppy
prove
on
her
my
readiness
device.
for leadership.
Yeah, let me shut this off here. There we go.
Silent the chat.
I hope I'm
talk
going to have
strap.
good audio though when the whole thing
Choppy
starts,
bot.
because I've been having some audio glitching problems here. 1T devolved to golf talk. Kamala only knows about another kind of ball. These seemingly minor details can play a significant role in how the performances are perceived by viewers. Kamala Harris, tomorrow's leader. Today, Kamala Harris steps to the stage to prove her readiness for leadership. This event is not just a political event, but a moment that could define the country's future. For him, these debates are not just a political event, but a moment that could change the course of the country. A minute for Okay, let's move
That
in
sales
here.
pitch was making me nauseous. Thank you so
Yeah.
much, sir.
Yeah,
Miss
it was kind of a
Angelo.
sales pitch.
You fall
Then it
behind
was
the
almost
chat either,
when
Tommy.
they're talking about Kamala there. It's saying something about future president. So I don't know. How are the polls going these days? What's happening with the polls?
Hello. Hey, Mossad.
Hey, let's start the show off. Geez, I can hear some
20 million
dropouts on the
illegal
audio.
migrants under Kamala.
I'm gonna have
Kamala
to reboot
mouthful
my,
right now with Wiener.
road here. Yeah, let
Trump
me
up
just
by
reboot
one.
my one piece of equipment here. Hang on.
Hey, Tommy and chat. They will ask cackling Hariss easy questions like what color is this red apple face, green smiling face, green smiling face, green smiling. Hi Ron. Hey Angie. You're glitching bad. LOL minion that S next level. To unburden what has been burdened. Yes, Trump by 1 point according to a New York Times poll, so it's probably more like 10 points.
Yes. Yes.
Sean,
Okay.
it's true there S.
Are we back?
Hello K9.
We are burdened by what has been. And tonight, we will be burdened by what has been.
Hey Dachshund, how are you?
No doubt about it.
Not my pet's dog.
It's all burdened.
That poll
you know
is
what
the
I mean?
popular vote. Hi Tommy.
Burdened by what has been.
LOL. No
Yes.
shot.
Oh yeah, you know
Comrade
what?
Kamala
I found
is going
one
tank.
here that's the worst
Hi,
crackhead
Dachshund.
in the world. This one right here. Look at this. This guy is cracked out, and his truck that he smashed. He was
Angie,
probably
I'm
driving
okay.
that truck.
Hi,
Smashed
K9.
into the house. It's on fire,
Save the
and
cat,
he's
save
cracked
the
out on
ducks.
top of the house. Holy macaroni! It's bad
Good
out
old
there.
Saginaw, Michigan.
It's bad in the real world. Okay, what was I looking for? I was going to look for something here that was interesting. Oh, it was going to be something to do with Kamala. Oh, yeah. Lolo doesn't like me because she thinks I'm a misogynist. You know what a misogynist is? Why am I a misogynist to talk about Kamala?
The idiot was ejected from the truck as it
Is
rolled and
you don't
landed
like
on the
way
roof
I'm
drunk.
talking about Kamala, that I'm
He
not
was
putting
drunk,
her up on
Tommy,
a
and
pedestal
got thrown out on the roof.
going like, wow,
The
what
videos
a
illegals
great woman.
eating our
Like, I really
pets.
don't care if she's a guy or a woman, right? When I take someone and I put up some
GS
kind of a
radical
meme
lefty
about
Tommy.
that person, it's because
One of the happy
they're
NPPL.
running to be the president of the States. Minion says she's a radical
Lolo
left.
is a
Yeah,
lefty loony.
exactly. You know, she's a radical left. So people are calling me misogynist for calling her radical left, which is pretty much what she is. You know, if you look at her past and what she's done, you know, don't even have to get into it here. You guys know, like Mossad, you're saying it. It's crazy.
Her policies suck. She has been there for years and nothing.
Let's see how that audio sounds.
She is pretty though for her age. Oh wait, that S.A. Masseuse.
Still pretty choppy. Oh man, this is not going to be good. I don't know if I can. Maybe I should do this without using soundboard or something here. Hang on, can I add something from here? Hang on.
Why is it asking me to join membership here, right? Like I'm gonna LMFAO just can around. Hello. Ha
Yeah,
ha,
join the
Andrew,
membership.
you like any.
Excellent plan, Stan. Hey, Queenie, how's it up? What's happening? Thanks for coming on the panel there the other day and giving us an update.
9 volcano green lava orange.
Probably from Saskatchewan to Alberta, somewhere on that highway 16, going Yellowhead westbound probably, and hit a where farmers are doing their right now, because I saw it myself, where farmers were in the field when I was coming home from the lake, and they're doing their thrashing, combining, and stuff like that, which creates a lot of dust. So yeah, that can happen. Sad to hear that happened, but luckily nobody was hurt too much. So life goes on, as they say. And we have about 48 minutes before
headed home when it happened.
showtime.
I don't. Andrew must have blocked me. Blue raised arms.
Of democracy and law becomes the arena for this
Right or
historic
wrong?
clash. There are no
LOL, you're right.
spectators in the hall, only silence and tension filling every
From my
corner.
reserve outside
The debates
Regina.
will be moderated by seasoned
You mean
journalists
Portland
David
Andy
Muir
face,
and
green
Lindsay
smiling
Davis,
face,
who will
blue
guide the
smiling
battle,
hand, pink
ensuring
waving.
strict adherence to
Aha.
our rules. Tonight is not just a
Okay,
political
tonight
event,
is not
but a
just any
moment
old
that
night.
could define the
Tonight is a
country's
big
future.
night.
An equitable duel.
Remember when Trump debated
These debates were
Biden?
conducted under
He
clearly
basically took
defined
Biden
rules,
out.
each aimed at
Biden
allowing
then,
the
they
candidate to
turfed him
reveal
as the
his
leader.
true
They go,
selves.
wow,
There are no
Trump
opening
took him out.
statements.
Like,
Straight
really,
into battle,
he was not
starting with
difficult to
questions.
take out, put it
Each
that way.
participant has 2 minutes
But
to respond.
let's see what
The same
happens
for
here.
rebuttals.
Because there's an awful lot of talk about Kamala being able to
Fuck Hershey.
read
minimizing
Read
Big
the,
protest
teleprompter.
outside venue temper.
You know what I mean?
Harris and Trump will
So
stand
remember,
behind
I'm
identical
on the
podiums
right
with
side
Democrats,
of
Notepad,
politics
and
here.
bottle of
So
water.
if you don't like that,
Notes
well,
or
come on.
assistance from their
But,
teams. Just
I know that she's not
Democrats
going
eat
to do any better
domesticated family pets.
than she is doing right now, because her and Biden are basically running the country right now. So it'll just be business as usual. Oh, what does she say she's going to do? She's going to pay off what was her latest
I was watching the protest.
cash payout to people to get votes. What was her latest one? Something about paying off or suspending something regarding some kind of a loan. I forget what it was.
LOL may be true.
Yeah, you guys know in the chat there. What was the
Did
latest
you see
thing?
the videos, Tommy? They're eating our pets.
Eating our pets. Yeah. Well, I know in Edmonton here we had
Canada News, the
people
two
from
couch
Vietnam.
boys
Remember when the
got shafted
Vietnamese
by a
people all
communist,
came,
goofy bitches.
to Canada? They were and to the States. It was the big influx of the Vietnamese, and then they were catching pigeons here in the city, and they apparently unfeathered the bird while it was still alive and threw it into the frying pan while it was still alive.
Illegals.
So, but I remember that being a story here that happened in,
crazy.
In Edmonton here. So yeah, people that come from other countries are used to doing things that they do in their country. So if it's eating pets or eating a dog or a cat or whatever, if they do that in their country, they might very well do it if they emigrate. Yeah, there's that possibility. Let's face it. Call it what it is.
Under extreme conditions, where every answer and argument could
Real talk videos out there to see for yourself.
chance to see which of the two leaders handles pressure better.
Yes, Ohio.
Is confident in their course and is capable of leading the country forward. Every word will be dissected.
Ew, I saw Bob Cox's face.
Alter the perception of the
45.
candidates by millions of viewers.
14 chatters in the chat. Thanks a lot. Miss Angie, Sean Little, Monica, rather. K9 is in there. Got Kim, Bob Cox. Good to see everyone. Smooth operator.
LOL.
Every minute on stage will be a test of resilience, leadership qualities, and the ability to take responsibility.
Bob Cox, I see you all over the place, actually. You're in lots
Nina,
of
can
chats.
I ask you a
Can lead the country forward. The world is watching this meeting, and
Yo, Tommy, go Harris.
in U.S. political history is being written.
CNA, go Harris. Yeah, right.
Pennsylvania for Trump.
Today marks a pivotal
Yeah, you know,
moment in American
people are
politics.
really
Vice
hardcore,
President
either
Kamala Harris and
hardcore
former
left
President
or
Donald
hardcore
Trump will
right,
meet
you know.
face-to-face for the
But
first
Hi
time this
CA.
year at the
the
presidential
people on the
debates
left
held
hate
at
it when I
National
call them
Constitution
lefties for
Center
some
in
reason. I don't know
Philadelphia.
why.
This event is not
Because
just
aren't
an
they
exchange of
lefties?
opinions,
You know,
but
if
a
you're on the
moment that
left
changed
side
the
and
course
you're,
of the campaign.
you know, vote if you're going to
Millions
vote
of viewers
Democrat, well,
worldwide
you're a
will be
lefty,
watching
aren't you?
every response,
What's wrong with
every
calling you that?
look,
You know, you can
every
call me a
gesture.
righty if you
Then
want.
of significance.
But it doesn't sound as
The
good,
National
right?
Constitution
Yeah,
Center,
you
a
righty.
symbol of
Oh,
democracy and law,
I feel so
becomes the
bad
arena
that you're
for this
calling me a
historic
righty.
clash. There are no spectators in the
But
hall,
yeah,
only silence and
I don't really like to
tension
call
filling
people
every
names,
corner.
you
The
know,
debates will be
short of
moderated
something,
by
you
seasoned
know, if we're talking about
journalists
politics or
David
something
Muir
like
and
that.
Lindsay
But,
Davis,
you know, I like to
who
call
will
them a
guide the
bad
dialogue,
name, you know.
ensuring strict
AP's
adherence to
cat,
all
yeah.
rules.
Oh, wow.
Tonight is not
Yeah, I was in
What?
a chat there today where everyone was a fan of Anarchy Princess.
Equitable duel.
Oh, my God. I couldn't believe it.
These debates are
Like everyone
conducted
going, oh,
under
AP,
clearly
AP,
defined
oh,
rules,
you're such a
each
good
aimed at
person.
allowing
Oh,
the
good,
candidates to
good. Blah, blah,
reveal
blah, blah.
their
AP,
true
oh,
selves.
my God.
There are no opening statements.
Oh, look.
Straight into battle.
It's
starting with
Biden and,
questions. Each participant has 2 minutes
and
to
Trump.
Pelican.
the same for rebuttals, and a minute for clarifications or counter arguments.
Talking about that old debate.
Active for the speaker, minimizing interruptions.
Yeah,
and
that's the one
disturbances
where,
in the flow of
Hello
discussion.
Tommy Temper.
Harris and Trump.
Or Biden
Yeah, I don't
got,
know when rallying for your
basically
candidate became
decimated.
faux pas.
AMC, good to see you. AP's cat, CNA.
Notes or assistance from the
Mr.
team
Cox.
LOL
Kim,
Tommy.
and their thoughts.
Queenie is in
Cheers,
her After
chat.
Dark.
A
Not in
recent
the
draw
main
set the
channel.
We all
tone
seen your
for
face
this
DP and
confrontation.
it's.
Donald Trump.
Well Bob, you have so much to say about everyone else and then show your face what is wrong with you.
Okay, and everyone is
Never
saying
forget
that my
September
chat
11th.
is really bad. And that you
Hi,
guys are a bunch
AMC.
of bigots and racists and like the worst people on the internet are apparently the people that hang out in my chat. That's what people are saying about you. I just want you to know that.
Today, Kamala Harris steps onto the stage to prove
K9 Gaming.
Like, I hate to say that. I hear other people saying that on the internet, you know, and I go, wow, I'll never
Drunken
have to say that, will I?
bastard.
Holy jeepers.
Q and Ron can both piss off making Tommy's chat toxic constantly.
Her main task is to convince the nation that her experience as vice president and her vision for America can lead the country
10-4 on that.
Donald Trump
Could be something that happens.
They want us dead, Tommy. It's very sad.
Arena.
Hey there, Tommy Temper person Turkuz waving.
Achievements during his previous term
Hey, Colette.
to present his vision for the
Good to see you.
For him,
Hey,
these debates are an opportunity to regain support
It's
from those
happening
who
tonight.
remember him as a
Hi,
strong
Cot.
leader.
hey, what's happening?
Self-awareness is
Button doesn't
important,
work.
folks.
Trump will attack.
Hang on.
Where is Kamala behind the Great Walls of China?
And steer the discussion
Tommy Temper, that's great. Everyone will come to your channel and sub up.
opportunity to change the campaign course. These debates are
Hey
not
there,
just
K9 Gaming Face Blue smiling person
Aw,
Turkuz
my
waving.
soundboard doesn't work.
Says Beastly that does nothing but abuse the turkey in his life FKO0FFG.
elections.
Why? Because we love our country and the best for it.
Check.
Cue how that groomer crew working out with his new 12-year-old. Brittany Spears toxic love. And want the best for it. See, here we go again with the crying. You should post the message Brett sent you crying. Oh look, it's Brett. Here we go with the bullshit. You're the toxic one, Brett. Constant toxicity. LMAO.
Brett.
Howdy do there, Dachshund Grandma person Turkuz waving.
Brett, don't fight. Let's not fight tonight. Let's say things that are like beautiful. Everything that you say should be
Nuts here,
a nice
SK
thing.
Kylofa.
Say something nice about someone.
Here come the
Brett.
Kool-Aid.
And everybody else is
Hi,
talking
Colette.
to Brett. Everyone say nice things about Brett, and Brett will say nice things
Ron
about
Vaults.
you. Okay? Like somebody said, I should do something about my chat.
Hey there, Frosty B Rocks Insights person Turkuz waving face red heart shape.
Is that what I need to do?
Block Brett, I
Need to
did.
get everyone to be nice to
That
each other.
chick with F me boots is hot.
But a moment that could change the course.
I'll
It's
just
hard to be
leave you
Mr.
can have
Nice Guy,
you
you know
and
what I
Ron
mean?
being toxic, calling people
Nuts
names
and
and
crackers.
inciting
Frank.
chat.
Every look.
Where does
Big ups.
Beastly get off besides his lil oral alarm clock? Brett should be with his e-girl and not online. You know it's true, AMC. Broccoli is
Brett-
healthy vegetables.
I don't know what if Brett has a e-dater.
Howdy,
E-date
Tommy.
on the go. or not. I don't know what's
Brett
going on
Broccoli Kissy Kisses
there.
Buddy.
It's true. Hey, howdy. Motobomb, Virginia. Big ups to you. KAMC. Brett Broccoli Kisses Buddy. Oh my gosh. What can I say? How many minutes to the showdown?
Hi Tommy, how are
minutes.
you this evening?
This should be decimated.
Brett, we love you so much.
I'll give
Steve is
overview.
gonna go viral.
But do you want the chat to be
Be you going
live
to time out tonight, Brett Wrench Abuser?
while the event is happening? Give me a 1 in the chat if you want the text to speech to be active while the event is happening.
Turn
Type
chat
1
off.
in the chat.
And bottle of water. No prompts, notes, or assistance from their
We'll
team.
see
Do
what
a
everyone
poll,
says.
Tommy.
And their thoughts.
Do a poll. Well, just type 1 if you want it. 2 if you shut it off to turn off the chat, so you can hear the
2 for no.
debate better.
1-5.
2 for no. 1.5. Yeah.
Well,
Well, maybe we could always.
Can we just turn Brett off?
We could always turn it on and off a
Operator.
little bit just for a few laughs. You know what I mean? Because I know you guys are going to be saying some pretty funny stuff. Or pretty,
Two.
spectacular
2.
stuff.
Today,
2
Shut
is
that
like
shit
shut
off.
it off. Okay.
to the stage to prove her readiness for leadership.
Don't let the door hit ya in the ass on your way out.
Yeah, exactly. Shut that shit off.
Each of her words will be aimed at showing voters confidence in the future
Wizzy.
she intends to govern.
Dory.
Can you just turn Brett and inbred vaults
I'm
off?
saying Wizzy.
We want to hear the maniac speaking.
Rocks.
Lead the country.
Kamala was cute when she young.
Donald Trump returning to politics.
We got Nightbot in there. Cunning Stunt is in there. Motobomb. Frank. Dory Wizzy and Nuts Simp. Aw.
During his previous term,
So
and
nice to
present
have a
his
simp.
vision for the future. For him, these debates are an opportunity to regain support from those
Closest
who
thing that
remain
I have to
as
a
a
simp
strong
is
leader capable
is
of making
Queenie
tough
and
decisions.
Brett as friends
Will attack,
up here in Canada.
using his
You know,
political skills to
we're like
dominate
virtual
Docs
friends.
and Grandma, we
never-
love you so much.
Well, like I've met Queenie and Queenie's met Brett, but I've never met Brett. So the triangle has not.
We love you,
completed.
Brett. Bye. You have to GP.
So
Looks
you know,
like
maybe
all the
someday
usual crowd is here.
at some
Gritter DP.
border event.
Smooth operator, I love you so much.
We'll see.
Yes, Grandma is the best. I think is somewhat attractive curly, which will help her, and her age is an asset. Go.
Propaganda.
Tommy loves Brett.
No, I don't like Brett. Well, oh, sorry.
And orange covering
I like
eyes.
Brett like as a
Big up nuts.
podcaster and a character, as a friend. As
I think
somebody
Brett
that I've known
Broccoli
for a
is
long
on his
time,
menstrual
that's a
cycle.
YouTuber.
Minion Mossad, I
And
love you
he's
so much.
passionate about
Tommy loves
what he
Trudeau.
does. You have to give
Everyone
Brett
just
credit
get along FFS.
for being passionate.
Inbred can't even spell damn preschool education. Tommy, that is a lie.
And
What?
Today marks a pivotal
That's a
moment
lie. Oh
in
no,
politics.
I don't even want to get into it.
Kamala
Okay,
Harris.
stop talking
One to
about
boot
that.
DP, one to boot
Let's
Brett.
talk about
Face to
Trump
face for the
and
first time this
Kamala.
year at the presidential
I wanted to
debates
bring up
held
some
at the
Nuts,
clips
did
of
you
Kamala.
take your meds? Text green game over person turquoise waving face green smiling.
Let me find
Brett
something
should be
here.
in prison.
Millions of viewers
Dory, my lil simp, I love you so much.
every look.
0. 1.
Okay, let me get into something here.
69. Lion roars, I love you so much.
Oh yeah, there was
420.
this story. Remember about the child that was apparently
Execute order 66. Okay, I need a cigarette. Lion says it as it is.
It just announced Kamala Harris. We extended temporary protected status to over 100,000 Haitian migrants. They need support. Aiden Clark, 11-year-old, was killed on his way to school in Springfield,
Menthol
Ohio.
or non? Hey,
The
Lion.
killer was a Haitian illegal immigrant that Kamala flew in. Now, again, I don't know if this story is true, but I've heard this story all over the place. And Kamala is actually right here
Camel.
talking about
That is why, also, starting with our administration, we gave TPS, temporary protected status, to Haitian migrants, 55,000. And then more recently, we extended temporary protected status to over 100,000 Haitian migrants for that very reason, that they need support, they need protection. That is why.
Think like you or go to jail and canceled. Fuck all the way off. LOL.
That's the story there. And it was one of those Haitians that came in under her watch, apparently.
Tommy, I think your volume too high. Tommy, why you not talking about what happened to Tony and Chris Couts boys in out communist country? Come on, Tommy, our country.
Okay, yeah, let me turn this back a little bit. Actually, yeah, let me turn up my headphone.
You are pretty mouthy now that you are a managing mod. For being a dumbass, Brett. MS. Correction, okay. Brett, nobody really loves you. Brett needs a superpower to save us from the Zionist.
Okay.
Hey there, Miss Frosty,
should be
a
a little
beautiful
bit better
day,
right
face,
there.
blue,
1, 2, 3,
smiling
4,
face,
1, 2,
red
3,
heart
4.
shape.
That's getting me
Brett.
super hot.
It is going to be strange having Kamala as president. Not sure how I feel about it, but I bet she will do fine. Hi, Colette.
Well,
I don't need a wrench to be mouthy. Anyone will tell you that.
I believe that the United States is kind of on a democratic autopilot right now. And it's been on autopilot the whole time that Biden has been running it. So even if she gets elected, the country will still be on the same autopilot that it's on right now, with the same people behind the scenes running the show. You know, the person that you elect at the top is simply the the talking head. You know, the person that is a spokesperson for the government, but doesn't hardly do anything.
Was not
There's
coming
lots
back,
and lots of other minions in the background. The so-called deep state,
by
whatever,
Silicon Valley centrists, so it will be about like Biden's term, which was a nothing, no burger.
The actual work.
Any other year, it would be the president doesn't run the United States. The deep state
because a lot of the deep state doesn't change.
Maybe people jealous of the broccoli power couple body blue raised arms.
Republican. Yeah, there's a few
she
people
has had
that
her
change.
Chance no more.
You know, that are running some
I would be on Y2 right after my mother died, but hey, priorities right.
But generally speaking, the departments all stay the same.
Hariss will dominate tonight.
Some things
Beasley
change.
Gilligan and Turkey Skipper.
Acts.
Ron, that's happened many times. I hope Trump flushes them out, Tommy. Still waiting for Lion Roars to give me a specific reason law I've broken as to why I should be in prison, LOL.
And wokeness. What's this all about here with this clip here? Hang on, let's see.
Giggles Island starring Kamala is hilarious. I know Matt's too liar just like the DP. Hariss will be done after tonight.
Are you his daughter? No, I'm not. What the heck is this one all about? Are you his daughter? And she says, no, I'm not. So, anyone know anything about that clip? What's that clip all about? What's the daughter thing? The daughter of who? When she's being asked, are you his daughter? That's a kind of a weird clip. You know what I mean? Lion Roars, what are you doing? Don't start any trouble in the chat. Herman Tosser, good to see you. Ms. Frosty.
No way, Grandma.
Oh, Miss Frosty.
They made the law clayers law in Canada because
I see the
of clowns
Frosty's
like
back
you
in your name there. Okay.
She whiter than me,
maybe
and
I
I'm a
overlooked
gringo.
that the last time you were live or whatever. But
it was when she was giving head to make her way to the top.
Good to see you, Miss Frosty.
Hariss is gonna Trump him. See what I did there.
We've got the Kamala Harris,
I'm
Vice
6'4",
President.
250 grade A beef.
Presidential debate. She's pumping out the memes and whatever for her Vi and at the presidential debate. So let's see what happens. It's almost happening. What is it?
Predominantly bull.
Yeah, a little bit longer, and we'll be ready to actually watch it. Let's see.
Someone asked her if she was Willie Brown's
daughter. Let's see how
daughter.
we're doing here.
What don't you about you Beasley being a woman abuser on a public platform? Get a
what
grip,
was that?
you loser.
These are my...
Hey, Tommy Temper.
These are my strikes right here.
I hope Kamala has been drinking.
This is what
You're a
getting
cow,
strikes on your
LOL,
channel
just
looks
kidding.
like. This is my background of all my strikes. See? I played this song, and it's like, no, your video cannot be monetized in blah, blah, blah countries.
Tommy,
you know,
how
2
your
million
explosive
countries.
diarrhea?
And same thing with all
Kamala
of these
was
here.
Willie
And I've got
Brown
lots of
S-Hoopy
strikes.
cushion.
I'll get like
Hi,
about 20
Fry.
strikes on one feed.
Hey there, Fry TV face blue smiling person turquoise waving. I like others. Fry up in this bitch.
What time is it going to start?
AK9 Gaming.
28 minutes or something?
Frit, now good to see you.
29 minutes.
Hey,
30
nuts
minutes?
and crackers.
Ish? That's a kind of
Vile
an odd
toxic
starting
garbage.
time, isn't it?
Hey, AMC
Oh, well,
Kingdom.
it's not my timer clock.
FRY TV. Fry,
It's
how
Fry
your big
TV.
balls made.
Good to see you there, Fry.
Fry TV.
Thanks for popping in.
Not to mention pathological liar,
the
LOL.
debate with voiceover. We'll be watching for things like facial movements, facial recognition type movements, how
Hey,
she's
Ron
clenching her teeth,
35
how
minutes.
she's
2 hours, 9 p.m.
making looks like her
there are rules for disposing of toxic trash.
like her
Face,
face is
smiling
like
face, green
as
smiling
if she's
face,
mad,
green
you know what I
smiling.
mean? We'll be looking for things like that during the debate. You know, same thing with Trump. Be looking for him to see where he's annoyed and things that he's saying that's like really pounding, or things
My
that she's
small
saying is
balls
really
are
putting
doing well,
Trump
Minion
down.
most sad.
I think
Thanks
we
for
pretty much
asking,
heard
LOL.
everything that either side
the
could
mods
put each
started
other
the
down
daily
with,
pissing
you know,
contest
because we
yet,
know
ha,
the
ha,
things
ha.
that
6
she's
p.m.
said
my
over the
time.
period of time that have changed. Flip-flopper. He'll be pointing out a lot of the flip-flopping stuff that Kamala has been doing. So, and there's a lot of that evidence on
There are also
online
rules
about
against
that.
woman abuse.
So we'll see.
Yes, sassy.
And we'll see what she says about Trump. You know,
Hillary
of course, she
Clinton
has
told
to say
Kamala to
something
poke him
about
to get him to blow
34
up.
felons, you know, and this
Most
kind of
sad,
stuff. And
leave
I
my
put
nuts
so
out
many
of this.
people in jail, and hey, I put people like you in jail, Trump. You know, I wonder if she says something like that.
I
Come
like
on.
dominant chicks. There's
Sassy
also rules
and
and laws
sweet.
around slander and libel. DP waiting for Kina. Sorry, nuts. Who is nuts says they have a channel. LOL nuts and crackers. Brett drop A to a channel that isn't toxic please LOL.
Oh, hang on. Let me go in the background.
Sure, give me
here.
a EC.
Something else here.
There's rules against distracted driving, but rules are dumb. Bring it, I'm still waiting for my papers from the RCMP to go to court. There should be laws for crash through a potato field. Go Hariss. Cuffs are
They're going
kooky.
to take that
He's got this.
that streams chat.
Kamala is going
off.
to lie her Y off. Hell and Queena here, wow, this will def be spicy tonight. Brett, that is their main witness. Join Tyler Bucket in America that explores Canadian culture and history. https youtube.com Tyler Bucket YouTube SI brief secure SBWPW. Potato Lives Matter. CA, that's the channel that you are banned from pervert. You need a crash helmet DP. Hariss has gone a Destiny Trump. Hey Queenie after dark. Sassy baby, how you doing dear? Hey Frosty B Rocks Insights. Chris big ups mate.
Yeah, good to see you there, Fry.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Hopefully you're
Hey Chris Oldham.
doing good there at the
Howdy
station.
dar Fry TV.
Keeping busy.
Brett, thank you very 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 much. Howdy Fry. Trump ahead will explode from humiliation and high blood pressure. There are also rules Khalid against inbreeding where your face comes
It should
out
be
looking like
interesting
a
to see
smashed
what happens.
potato is so even there
Absolutely.
Khalid, you ugly bitch. AMC.
Right here. Look at
Brett
this.
has been small nuts
Multiple
too.
sarcasm. Who is that? Multiple sarcasm. Thanks for subbing. Trump ahead. Trump's head will explode. You think so? He might.
Kentucky's
Yeah, but do
Nightbot
you
has
think that
escaped
she's
to Canada.
capable of making his head
And this should
explode?
be interesting.
Like,
FRY
really? Do you
TV
think she's
has
going to
been
get him
busy
so
setting up
agitated,
his
so
Tinder
frustrated,
profile.
whatever, that he's going to just
Work has been
blow
small
up,
nuts,
explode,
Tommy
start
Kamala.
yelling, screaming? Who's going to start screaming
Two.
first? No, but they
Funny
can't.
smiling face
They
with
can't
hearts.
talk to each other because their
Tinder,
mics are
I
muted.
thought it was Grindr.
Right? They'll have one mic on at a
Automatic.
time. That's
Yes,
it.
Tommy.
So they can't really yell at each other. But yeah, it could happen. Anything can happen.
Mossad, I'm good, babe.
We
I
don't
just
know.
stopped by. I am not watching the debate in here, but I
Tinder.
wanted to say hi.
Telescope.
Yes, Telescope. I am almost done. Just need to post my ass pics.
It's more dry
Nuts,
humor
I
from
so wish I knew
Telescope.
you were. Telepoop pissed in his sleeping bag.
It's getting ready to start.
Sass.
24 minutes
Live on Tommy, yes.
on the countdown clock.
Lap flip, but we all cry looking at what got FKED up with her life. She can't. Tommy, I think you charged me up on 24 volts today. Hi, Tommy.
AMC. You're doing good. You're rolling nice. Keep going.
Hello, folks.
I wish I could get this thing going there. What the heck? I
Caught
wonder if
your
I have
beautiful lady, don't pay attention.
Check. Check. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Clean. Oh, that's a clean sound. Hang on. AI narrator.
Exactly, K9.
Okay. Thank you.
Romania running wild.
It's
You're right, K9 Gaming. What can he say besides radical Congress Kamala? It's not controversial enough. He has to hold to be funny. How long do we sit here and let you feel our chat?
Hariss goes into office, we're screwed.
cool. I like it. We all sound weird. Don't make me mad, or I will ban you.
Want to know answer to Brett S question as well. Minion Mossad Wasu Trump might grab a punani tonight.
A punani? What's that?
That
Punani.
sounds like a talk box.
It's magic chords. I can sing and it sounds pretty good.
Yo Tommy, why won't your mods let me participate in chat?
The same LOL. There are so many stupid people in the US that's exactly what I'm afraid of. Kleenex, get your Kleenex here, nice soft tissues here. Trump is the devil. Luke, I'm your father. Guarantee. Lou, I love you. I wonder what happens when you type a bunch of 7A7777. Queen. Just because you goofy bitch I was attacked first go abuse some other turkey and Tommy said I'm untouchable in here so right offer to leave me alone I don't need to be blue.
C8 Productions you are not blocked. I am most sad. She has already attacked me Brett Collette CLOL. Execute Order 66. Lingaloo. I don't rules. I don't know how long. That's strange sure. Tommy, thank you for pumping that hot grease into my Zer fittings, baby. Oh, turn him off. She doesn't help herself. Liver Spots has been busy crying into his cool rag since his last live. Someone in the chat needs a crate of tissues. Hi, not smiling face with horror to show why no one is untouchable cupcake. I would attack ABD, but she is not single face fuchsia tongue out person turquoise waving text green game over. Here's over the channel, Tommy. Tommy has hemorrhoids. So, MFAO me how weird. Fried TV hate one of my favorite white cheap people. Invests in cleans.
Well, I can't.
Sassy is a hot cougar.
I can't get it to
Hey, ha ha ha.
play my soundboard, which is bad. So I'm gonna reboot voice mod. Oh boy, I don't even know if this is.
Hey there,
work.
MT native. Can you mute that turkey lil oral alarm clock? She is a worthless waste of skin and adds nothing to this platform. Minion Mossad, you know it, babe.
Ding ding ding
Hell
ding
in a
ding
cell
ding.
2100. Tommy the man.
Gucci.
Still jelly, I see. Tommy Temper, I'm speaking.
Okay.
Telescope keeps losing subs due to his lack of a likable persona.
Got Gucci in there. MT Native, good
It's
to see you.
Tommy's
Shit Shaker.
channel.
Linda Lou. Cheeks.
Go Hariss.
Luna C.
Yes, I'm jealous.
First, multiple sarcasm
Everyone
in there.
check out Chris Oldham last video.
Telescope.
He is so funny.
Fry,
https
Sassy.
youtube01zpm4umxqsi
Good to see you,
sfaggot 09
everyone.
pestle 7l0f. Hi Linda. Hi K9. Colette
Okay, how
Hay.
many minutes have we got on this thing here? 19 minutes. or
Hariss
something
is a
like that.
Chinese operative.
Something like
Tai
weird
Tai
time.
Tai Fry TV.
Maybe there's a little
Rumor is Kamala
preamble
will wear a dress tonight. Fake news.
once it starts.
Sub to Chris, you bloody wonkas. Tommy
be a
gets straight
wonkus.
on the voice chat, and why are you
Wanker.
not streaming on
Wanker.
Twitch?
Isn't the term
Brett,
wanker?
go back to
In English,
NEWS2SHARE and spew your bullshit
Interstate.
over there.
Hey, good to see ya.
Z
Wow.
can't gain a view due him having
Big
copyright
ups. I'm
strikes.
not streaming on Twitch. I'm on
Hey, MT Native,
Press
hope
Pad.
all is well with you.
Tommy Temper and
Hariss
on
is going to
Facebook.
wipe the floor with that dumb SOB. She
You
only
know,
wears
I can only
pantsuits.
stream to 3 places, and I don't know. I don't get too much traction
It
over
gives
on
me the Willy Wonkas.
Twitch. You know what I mean? You
Eddie
know, I
gets
do
it.
get traction. Like, you know,
Eddie Eagleface green
But
smiling.
it doesn't
Turkey
get
mate, are
saved
you pissing in my
over on
pocket?
Twitch, whereas these other ones here,
Hey,
they get saved and
Interstate
people can look
Travels
at them
TV.
after. You know what I mean? So that's why I did that. So we'll see what happens. We'll see.
Straight, firm stances,
Harris wears
confidence,
Hillary
and commitment to
hand-me-downs.
progressive changes.
Drop
Each of
press
her words
pad.
will be aimed at showing voters
Jelly, ha ha ha
confidence.
ha, I have all the attention I need on here. You continue to need it from a abuser cause you can't get anything else. Get a grip, lil oral alarm clock. Tommy has explosive diarrhea.
Ding, 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 ding.
Trump loves P-play, he a water sports fanatic. Shout out to Piss Pad. True Peter Burns.
Yeah.
Hi Peter, I'm ready for your commie jokes.
And to present his vision for the future.
Kamala Harris, liar, liars, man, pants, sweep on fire.
Well, let's see
I
what
like
she
big
says.
breast S, it's
Remember,
natural
watch
feelings.
for things, okay? Watch for facial things. Facial,
Hey,
for
Fry.
example, a person will blink their eyes rapidly when they're
Commie
lying.
jokes are
okay?
funny, go on,
so
tell
watch on either side for
Channel
as
reviews
they're giving
https
answers to
YouTube
whether or not
channel
they
reviews
pause,
123 SIIXL
blink their eyes a lot, and then
4QML
start talking. You know what I
7BNT.
mean? As if they
Trump
came up with
gets
a
the
lie,
last word.
and now they're going to tell their lie. There's little things like that that you should
Gary.
look at. Thanks a lot, Frosty, for dropping that link. Channel reviews is is that where we're at on? Or I think we're on press pad tonight. Yeah, but thanks for dropping that link there too to channel reviews. That's my other channel. So sub up to channel reviews and press pad. So
I will count the blinks.
check out the stream over on press pad.
Trump is quick on his feet.
I can see any
Look at the color of Trump's
comments
face.
coming
His
up on
head will
press
explode
pad
from
over
high
here.
blood pressure. Amazing content, Rip Trump.
But they don't come up on the reader or on the chat text to voice.
Can lead the country forward. The world is watching this meeting, and tonight a new chapter
Salute.
of U.S. political
Gucci.
history is being written.
Gucci shoe
Who
trees.
will win over the voters?
Fight like hell.
Today marks a pivotal moment in American politics. Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump will meet face-to-face for the first
Dun,
time
dun,
this year at the presidential debates held at the National
dun.
Constitution Center in Philadelphia.
Press pad
This event is
https
not just an
youtube.com
exchange
press
of
pad
opinions, but a moment that
1926
could change the course of the
SI2DZBR9
campaign. Millions of viewers
Ack him.
worldwide will be watching every response, every look, and every gesture. Venue
That's
of
right.
significance.
Minion Mossad, I'll see you
Every
later.
gesture
I
we'll
am
be looking
actually
at.
going to watch the
A
debate.
symbol
See
of
you later.
democracy and law
This should be
becomes
good.
the
Broccoli loves
arena
BB
for this
Flow.
historic clash.
Who we fighting
There are
again,
no
most sad.
spectators in the hall.
Sassy.
Only silence and tension filling every corner.
Trump will repeat
debates
himself,
will be
repeat
moderated
himself,
by
repeat
seasoned
himself
journalists.
over
Hey, well,
and
we're
over
watching
again.
the debate over here.
Sassy,
Guide
be
the
good,
dialogue,
dear.
ensuring
That's why
strict
we're
adherence to
doing
all
this.
rules.
We're doing the
Tonight
watch
is
party
not
here.
just a political
where we,
event, but a
the
moment that could
chat won't be
define
live
the
when
country's future.
I'll take the chat
An
down,
equitable
right?
duel.
And we'll just watch the debate.
These
But I
debates
might be
are
commenting
conducted
on the
under
debate for
clearly
sure.
defined rules.
But
each
I will
aimed at
try
allowing
not
the
to
candidates to
talk
reveal
over
their
the
true
debate.
selves.
You know what I mean?
There are
So
no
you'll
opening
still hear what they're
statements.
saying.
Salad
Straight
mouth
into
and the
battle,
great
starting
Trump.
with questions. Each
CA, be
participant
more
has 2
specific,
minutes to
mate.
respond. The same for rebuttals, and a minute for clarifications or counter-arguments. Microphones are only active for the speaker, minimizing interruptions.
Microphones are only active for the speakers. Ooh, minimizing interruptions. Yes, you wouldn't want them to argue.
Chris,
And
good to see you,
disturbances
bro.
in the flow of the discussion. Yeah, like someone saying, "You liar," right in the middle of their answer.
Well, I actually said that I said I was for fracking.
Salad mouth.
I did.
Yeah, right.
You're an
Pretty
idiot,
num
Tommy.
numbers
What is
outside
the
my
point
window.
of no chat? So Canadian of an idea.
Let's look at Cam 2. Oh, it needs... it's
Salad
looking
is
very
good
dark
for you.
outside. It's getting darker, but it isn't quite that dark. My camera is darker than it looks.
Darminion most sad.
Wow, good echo there.
Today, Kamala Harris
One of these days I'll fix my transition
Who is
audios.
the enemy?
This is her
Addquote.
chance to demonstrate firm stances, competence, and commitment
But
to
until
progressive
then-
changes. Each of her words will be aimed at showing voters confidence in the future she intends to govern. Her main task is to convince the nation that her experience
Harris
as
is the
vice
enemy.
president and her
What the
vision for
heck?
America can lead the country to success. Donald Trump returning to politics. For Trump,
Donald Trump returns to politics.
he uses
Once
today's
again.
meeting to remind people of his achievements during his previous term. and to
Looking
present
good.
his vision for the future.
Apply that.
For him,
Okay.
these debates are an opportunity to
And
regain
okay,
support
and we'll feed it back in again. There. That's what it looks like where I am
Trump will
outside my window.
use
It's
his political skills
you
to
know, it's later on in the day, but it's not dark.
discussion according to his
But
scenario.
my camera.
WEF and WO BlackRock communist ideologies, etc.
It went into a
I believe
wacky
she
whack
wanted Trump
whack out.
offed. R.I.P. Donald Trump.
Wacky whack out.
Gucci. Oh, and radical Islam. Tommy gets stream buddy TTS chat reader. You wish. Rest in peace, Donald Trump.
Leading the country forward. Every word will be dissected, and any slip could alter the perception of the candidates by millions of viewers. Conclusion: the moment of truth. This evening will be.
What you gonna do, brother, when Trump mania runs wild on you?
What you
The
gonna do
elites.
when they come for you? Bad boys. Okay, I'm gonna reboot my audio here, so my audio is gonna be out while it reboot this audio here. Okay. It's gonna shut off, and you may not hear me. And if you do hear me, that's weird, because that's completely shut off. Okay, that doesn't work.
K. Kamala Harris, the laughing hyena.
In American politics, Vice President Kamala Harris
Let's start
and
this
former
again.
President Donald Trump will meet face to face for the first time this year at the presidential
Check.
debates held at the
Check 1, 2.
Who are the elites and what do they run and control?
Not just an exchange of opinions, but a moment that could change the course of the campaign.
The bourgeoisie
will be watching every response,
or
every
the
look, and every
proletariat?
venue of significance.
The bourgeoisie,
The
of
National
course.
Constitution Center, a symbol of democracy and
Do you
I don't
believe you
know.
can complain about elites until you are blue in the face? Power must be taken from them.
Only silence and tension filling every corner. The debates will be moderated by seasoned journalists David Muir and Lindsay Davis.
AEW elites.
Ensuring strict
The elites
adherence to
aren't
all
in power, they control the
Tonight is
power.
not just a
10 minutes 52
but a moment that could
till the
define
debate
the
starts.
country's future.
The big debate of the century,
These debates are
because
conducted
Trump
under
took
clearly
out
defined rules,
Biden already.
that
Biden
allow
is
candidates to reveal
he's
Power to
out
the
laying
people.
down somewhere. In,
They control the
in
minds
his
of the
bedroom
sheep of
somewhere,
Frosty
just
B.
kinda
Rock's
relaxing,
insights.
probably
Each
watching the
participant
TV
has 2 minutes to respond. The
on the
same
wall.
for rebuttals, and a minute for clarification
Fry TV, what do you have?
or
control the minds, the
Always
sheeple.
have to laugh when
That's
people
right.
seem to try and be against the
Fry
elites,
TV,
and
are
yet
you
continue
into,
to support all
flat
the elite
earth,
establishment agendas, programs, projects, propaganda, etc.
Or you believe
LOL.
in the flat earth
No prompts, notes, or assistance from their teams.
theory?
Free your mind and your ass will follow.
That's right.
I know the answer to the question I was trying to induce thinking LOL.
Induce thinking.
Where does the power come from?
The
Multiple
power comes from
sarcasm.
within. The power of love. The power of love.
Kamala Harris chose the right podium.
Kamala Harris. Oh my gosh.
The viewer screen. These
She's so
small,
happy.
minor details can play a significant role
CA
in how their
capitalism.
performances
She's happy.
are perceived
Yes,
by
Tommy
viewers.
Temper, I know that
Kamala
NASA lies
Harris,
about the Earth.
tomorrow's leader.
I'm not okay. What's misogynist? Because somebody called me a misogynist today. Okay,
It's
A woman-
not what they say.
a
it is
woman called
Tommy
me a
Temper.
misogynist, and like I take
Don't
offense to
take
being
down the
called a
jury in debate.
misogynist because
Brett
I
needs to spew his
think
bullshit in the DP too.
I like people. I
You
love
require a
women.
panel to hard
Okay?
explain type
I
it,
don't
otherwise
like-
people spin it.
As vice president,
I don't like far
Almighty
left
dollar,
politics,
LOL.
right? So if a person happens to be a woman that is a
Kamala
far
says
left
she is
in her
honored to have
political
War Pig
beliefs,
Dick Cheney
well, I
as
may not like
endorsement.
her political beliefs.
How many
That doesn't
blue
make me a
pills is she on?
misogynist. Like, come on.
Musk his Iron Man.
Don't just throw around
Thinking you have
words
high
like
hopes.
that based on the fact that I don't like a person that happens to be a
I
woman.
like a good massage.
I don't, you know, and
Maybe
people
cause
say,
the
"Oh, I don't like
KC
them."
word line.
You know, well, hey, you don't like Trump, so what's the word for not liking a man? Okay, I want to know what
Thanks
that
for
word is
demonstrating
so
your
that I
great
can
mob
throw that word
capabilities,
around.
Ron,
Okay,
and awareness.
there's got to be
Toxic.
something for that. If you don't like a man, what's that?
they offer a chance
Is that
to see the candidates
you're like a
conditions.
testosteronist or something?
Could play a decisive role in the upcoming elections. Voters will get a chance to see which of the two leaders handles pressure
Testosterone
better, is
toxic?
confident in their course, and is capable of leading the
Lefty loonies think there are 5,000 genders.
dissected, and any
8 minutes, 15 minutes to go.
We've
We've
Right,
got
Brett.
conclusion.
No
We've
matter what
got
side
the
you're
guy
on,
that
one
believes
thing
in
rings
men
true,
and women
Democrats are
against
better looking.
the one that's
I thought a
pushing
misogynist was a fella or lady that
tampons
rubs
in the
folks down
bathrooms.
for a
Okay,
living.
tampons in the bathrooms on the
Pig.
right, and she's going to
Let
be,
the salt flow.
as the
Reedy,
thing
reedy.
goes, she's going to be on the left side of your screen, and Trump is going to be on the right side of the screen, and Trump is going to have the last word on the debate because they did some kind of a, I don't know how it was, but they determined that Trump would have the very last word in the debate, which actually is a good thing because it like rounds up the entire thing, and he can do a last bash, you know,
Gee,
as
was that you
the
face on
whole
panel other
event
night smoking
ends.
a
You know,
cigarette.
so it's
Thinking
pretty
face
much
orange biting
you know a
nails.
pretty good
Keep
you know
it
shoe
flat,
in
Tommy
there for
Temper.
Trump on the debate here. But let's see
Minion
what
was
happens.
sad
you
God
know?
knows
Let's
that
see.
was Kinna.
We know that Trump is pretty
For
polished.
myself, face
And
fuchsia tongue
meanwhile,
out.
I don't know that I've ever seen Kamala at any kind of a debate ever with anyone, or where anyone, where say a reporter is asking her pointed questions and she's coming back with the with the questions. Well, there was the one with her and Tampon
Beef.
Tim there the other day.
Cause
the
Trump is the
CNN
right
one.
man for the job.
But you know that didn't cut it. If you had a 40-minute interview and they only showed like 19 minutes of it, like
You
come
did the
on,
tease show
they
your
threw
face
away
for
a
a
lot
quick
of it
second,
because she
gee.
failed.
Brett supports tampons in boys' bathroom.
Yeah, I don't know about
Trump is going
tampons
to
in
be on the
boys'
left. Pay
bathrooms. To me,
attention.
that's
Harris
like
got to pick which side because
ludicrous.
Trump's
If
got closing statements
if there's
last.
a girl in a guy's bathroom that is
I like free
pretending
tampons.
to be a guy,
Great mod Ron.
wow, like come on, that is going to be few and far between. How many out of
Minion
every
was sad.
every
Oh yeah,
person
I
that
showed
goes
it
into
several
that
times.
bathroom?
Now you know how
There's gonna be
factual
so
that statement
few,
was.
If you're doing that all over the country, oh my God, that cost is that's so costly
Thanks, Brett.
to do that.
Harris will destroy
And I'm
Trump
not
tonight.
anti
Stay free,
LGBTQ
kitty cats.
community either. I'm not.
Toxic.
I don't put down the whole community at all. I say, hey, you guys do what you want to do. You know,
They
I
also
just
want
don't
Hemp and
partake in
Spencer's.
what you do.
I know
Right?
lots
That
of
doesn't
people
mean
that know
I'm
about
putting you
NASA
down.
lies
So don't
and
be
that
afraid
the
of
Earth
me.
is
Don't.
flat. They
You know,
just
that's a
will
problem.
not talk about
Everyone
it.
on the
I do
left
Tommy
is like
Temper.
afraid of everyone on the right.
Toxic
You
and
think that
immature
everyone
AF.
hates you. Well, we don't hate
Gee,
you.
you're a dime piece.
We
First
like
time
everyone.
I ever you.
We try and like
Trump will
everyone.
repeatedly repeat himself, repeat himself, repeat himself, repeat himself, repeat himself, repeat himself repeatedly over and over and over again and again and again. Absolutely MS.
Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun.
Soldiers
will
keep
repeat himself.
taking out
Yeah, he
those
does.
tampons machine off the
Multiple
walls, and
sarcasm.
Trudeau keeps putting them back.
As we're watching, I'll silence the audio, but I'll bring your comments up on the screen like this, okay? So if you see something that you want to comment on, say it. Type it in. And then I'll bring it up like this so that we'll be able to see it as we're watching. Okay.
Hi Tommy Temper, very nice to catch live, hun.
Thank you, Stephanie Berry, for the win. Good to see you. Good supporter of the channel, Stephanie.
Hey, Stephanie Berry. Well. That's the Zionazi way. Accuse your enemy of that which you are guilty. Tell lies repeatedly until people start to believe them.
Nice
Hi,
to
Stephanie.
see you meeting up with Jeff there.
Tampons good for wounds. Hi, Stephanie. I'm sorry if I don't seem to be myself this evening. I've been flowing heavy all day. R.I.P. Daisy.
Yeah, exactly.
Hi, Tommy, you just answered my question that if you were turning off the voice to comments.
Alternative uses for that product,
Prize brain is flat. Imagine thinking we're
for.
inside an ice wall because we're a farm for aliens. Me too nuts. It's a bitch isn't it.
10-4, yeah.
Oh,
I'm
here
turning
we go
off
with
the
the
voice
Zionist, Bionist, Lionist bullshit.
when the thing starts. So we did a vote on it with the chat, and the chat said to turn off the text to voice when
Yo,
the thing
Brett,
starts.
who is the lay I eat to you? Not a fan, Ron, LOL.
3 minutes.
Good for nosebleeds, LOL. Elite.
Got G is me in there. Hey, good to see you.
I'm leaving early, bye guys. If you like paying for high fuel prices and food and not having money, vote for Harris. If you want a better life, low fuel, a job, and better life, vote for Trump. WTF, I agree with Ron. Boycott. Great show, Tommy.
Well, remember.
Thank you, I've been on the go all day and just got here,
votes.
Tommy. Hello,
if you don't like something,
GN Colette.
You know, you could
yes,
vote
money,
for it.
money is your god. Spend money now. We are food for the system. If you want cheaper gas and less migrants, remove sanctions from Venezuela. LOL. Bye, Colette.
Yeah, you have to think about that.
Hey, Christy. Crispy B.
Personally,
Tommy,
I would say that
ha 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 JFK.
There's been an awful lot of in-migration to both Canada and the United States over the last,
you
let's say,
most people didn't get brain damage from drinking pond water.
Mostly
K9
in the last little bit here, right? But it's not going to stop if Harris is kept in power there. The immigration will still, be happening. I know, and like everyone goes, you're against immigration. I'm not against immigration. I'm not against it at all. You should be able to immigrate to any country. I should be able to immigrate to the States.
And then
you should be able to immigrate here. You know what I mean? I'm not against immigration.
Temper, how is your erectile dysfunction?
But border hopping and then running
Ron.
Into New York
and TV, good to see you, hun.
Stealing stuff because you don't have any money, whatever, and it's getting ridiculous. There's too many people already living on the streets and whatever without jobs, shall we say.
NWO Global Immigration Pact. Too much is too much, Tommy. I only have 2 brain cells.
Exactly.
Money is your god. Spend money now, so I should take better care of them. Was your life better 4 years ago? Did you have money in your pocket? Think about it in November. Hello, Stephanie. Kamala Harris has at least smoked marijuana. Never trust a person.
Interstate, my life was better
before.
When Trump was in
Tommy
power,
loves
honestly.
Trudeau.
Because he
Christy
wanted
B.
to trade with Canada. He wanted to
please
buy our
from
oil. He
speaking
wanted the
about Tommy
pipeline to go through. There was the XL pipeline. Remember? And Biden got into power. The day after he got into power, they canceled the XL pipeline from Canada. Like, talk about being anti-energy.
Christy.
And it's the globalist. Because the Democrats are like brainwashed by the globalist thing to go green and, get rid of oil and go electric cars and, all the rest of that stuff. And we see how well that's working out. Oh my gosh. Lots of people have electric cars that now wish that they didn't have them because
Tommy,
they
do you
can't
recommend
charge them
dentures?
properly. Infrastructure. You need more infrastructure.
Which of the two leaders handles pressure better, is confident in their course, and is capable of leading the
The
country
timer is
forward?
information.
Every word will be dissected,
stuff.
and any slip could alter the
I
perception
have money
of the
in my
candidates
pocket
by
on the
millions
daily.
of viewers.
I have worked with
Conclusion.
NASA.
The
Money
moment of
is your
truth.
God. Spend
This
money
evening
now,
will be
so
a
I
turning
know
point
stuff
for
that
the
most
entire
people will
country.
never know.
Today,
Yeah, we'll see when it starts here.
Cash money hose.
We'll bring it on. The debate. Donald Trump and Kamala Harris.
Imagine never getting high or drinking a beer. Trump is a
it's
very
like-
boring person.
It's like a fight of the century. You know what I mean? It's like
And there just
a
went
boxing
Fry's
match or
last
something
brain
here
cell.
going on. Let's see who gets punched in the nose first. This should be good. Epic. I don't know about the people that
Waiting
are doing
to
the
hear
interviews,
from
though.
Elon,
They showed,
my new PMC
the
gig.
people that are going to be
Money,
asking
money,
the questions
money.
here, and I don't know anything about them.
LOL. Money is your God. Spend money now. We just got electric vehicles.
I know
and
some
I'll
people
never
say
go
that,
back.
G. If it works for you, like it's
Fry
let's
TV,
say that
is there
you
a
only
one-way
charge it at your
spaceship
home
with room for
and
a
you
certain
only drive it
crybaby mod?
around where you live,
Cream cash
it's good.
rules everything
It'll work
around
for you.
me.
You know what I mean? But if you go on a long distance drive or something, or where you live in Canada like I do, and Stephanie
It's
Berry,
okay
thanks
not
a lot
to know
for that
stuff. Money is your God.
super
Spend
chat.
money
I really
now.
do
Just
appreciate
don't let
that.
it hurt
Stephanie
you.
Berry, thank you very
I have
much for your
jingled in my
coverage, Tommy.
pocket money in the bank
Love
and did indeed build a new
from
house, and mine
Luigi
is
and
paid off, so
Stephanie.
I'm good in life. Thank you.
Big ups to you. Thanks a lot.
Most sad.
Oh, I got some supper.
And if you
coming
were
in here.
rich.
Oh, good. Thank you.
Oh wow, Stephanie, very generous. It's okay to make up stuff too.
Okay, good. Thanks.
Boom, big up, Steph. Very nice.
Okay, I got some fish and chips came in here. Thanks a lot for that.
Space is
super
fake
chat,
nuts
though.
and crackers,
Stephanie
so
Berry
that's a no.
for the win. Good. Like I said, a great supporter of my channel and lots
Super
of other
Stephanie.
channels as well. Appreciate that. Starting soon is the debate. We'll see what happens in the debate here. Meanwhile, I'll do a mukbang special here.
Show us
as I
the
eat
food, mate.
my onion ring. Yeah, here's what it looks like.
Yes, a nice start to tonight from Stephanie. Tommy. Shucks. You just have to plan out your trip. It's not a lazy man's vehicle. Tommy temper. Fake nuts like trans surgery. Oh Lord. Stanky breath.
Onion ring.
Fish chips. Go Hariss. Yum yum yum. I like driving around in my gas car. Speeding pollution.
I like, I need some ketchup on here.
Prediction
I don't know,
Kamala
maybe-
crushes the
maybe one
cheese
day
into a
we
fine
will-
powder.
The governments will probably force us all to drive electric cars. That's what they tried to do, right? The government tried to force us where they go, okay, all electric cars by 2030. You know what I mean? It's like forcing
Tommy
auto
S. Lazy
companies
Man
to
S.
build
vehicle
those
is
cars,
his golf cart.
and they
LOL.
can't make any money off them. And that's why a lot of companies are going back to building and selling gas cars because they can make money on the gas cars, but they can't make
birds
money
will
on their
fry.
electric cars because
LOL.
the technology keeps changing and they keep getting so
LOL.
cheap that they don't make any money on them.
See, that's funny.
Why did you
Lots
have
of
to?
bad
Okay, if they were making
boils,
money on them,
Tommy
why did you have
temper,
to
I have to
subsidize them
red
so
tag
that people
that
would buy
looks
them?
tasty.
You know? It's pretty good.
When Trump loses, he will cry like a little bitch.
Come on. He might though.
Hybrid seems like decent idea.
I don't know if he'll lose. I think people are fed up with Biden. Don't you think so? Like Interstate is saying there, you know? Like, what do you think of the last 3.5 years
Fried
of your
sea
life
boils on
compared
crackers,
to when Trump was in power?
PLL
Is there
blames
any
someone
difference
else.
at all? Any
And the
difference?
cost of a new battery, holy hell.
Did you see anything happen when Biden took over? Like any kind of high inflation or something like that? High interest rates?
Tesla shutting off a
think
woman's
about it.
vehicle and locking her inside because they wrongly thought the car was stolen should be setting off alarm bells. Ever see iRobot? Not a good look. AEIOU. Who is this Biden you speak of? It will be landslide Trump over 400 electoral votes. Fry TV, do you still do your cooking videos? Elon Musk is not Team Freedom. You're in Canada, dude, LOL. Musk is Tony Stark. Oh, you're on. Yes, even buying golf cart batteries are expensive. Could you imagine replacing those for a car? Terrorism never takes a break. Doe, a deer, a female deer. Cooking bark. Right on. Everybody have a great njit. 2100 Let's go USA. Lie, cheat, steal, defeat Trump by any means necessary. The birds of Christmas tree are real, fake money. Money is your god. Spend money now. Okay, it's on now. Dixon Cider is my stage name. A Klingon bird of prey. Kamala Trump. Canadians know about the US and a lot globally. A lot of the US is ignorant towards anything outside the US products of our environment. No seashells, wish I had the time. You have money, great, but living with your parents don't count. Living in your own house or apartment and paying your own bills. Remember, bro, vote 5 times. 50 seconds. Ignorance is bliss. Agreed. Fry TV. Seed oil's bad. We use olive oil, avocado, or coconut oil, but really expensive. When a flower does not bloom, you fix the environment in which it grows, not the flower. Oh Lord, definitely turn this off while debate is on, please.
Yeah. No, we'll turn off the chat when the debate starts.
I had hummus, I can't stop farting.
Audio.
Yes, Stephanie Berry. Fry TV, I enjoyed your cooking, love the organic ingredients. When there's a rotten apple in the barrel, you toss the rotten apple. There's lots of different types of Americans, stereotype much.
You got to
No
tighten up the
surprise the
border.
debate is starting
You got to
late.
tighten up your borders, because that's what kills your country. Because when you have, really, honestly, when you've got millions of people popping in, they need something to survive. They need
Thank
government.
God chat is being shut off, praise God.
Paid for, schools and everything else, infrastructure. And it's a huge taxation on the entire country. And it's even worse.
God. I eat
when
cleaner
you
than
can't
when
even
I did
open
my
up a
cooking
store
stream
because
seashells.
people are robbing you.
Correct, nuts.
These stores where you see
Amen.
where people are robbing these stores,
It's on Tommy.
how long do you think those
Says
stores are
that
going to stay
person
open?
generalizing
Right?
and stereotyping Canada and Canadians. Awkward handshake. Not always, Brett. Sometimes genetics of a plant is bad, you discard like Sparta. Which country? Ha ha ha. You mean our country. The American people are tired of Trump's bullshit. Did you hear about the Haitians eating cats in Springfield, Ohio? I only eat what I make at home, seashells. Let's go 111,111.
If Trump
Only
does
way
get
Tommy
elected,
keeps up with chat interstate.
let's
It's
see if he
already
stops
started.
the Ukraine-Russian
Big
war
ups, Tommy.
and the war
Debate is
between
late. Tommy,
Israel
it's on,
and
bro.
Hamas.
Like a ragweed. It's the best way to
Palestine.
eat fried TV. It has started, Tommy. This Canadian eating poutin is definitely who you should listen to on American politics, haha. Day 1 in office, both wars end. 4 lies already. What Penelope Peach Productions? Hit the like. Welcoming candidates.
It started?
You're missing it. Madam President is sexy, Trump is
I'll put it on
disgusting.
this
But a
channel.
moment that
I
could
can already
define
tell
the
this
country's
debate is
future.
going to suck.
An equitable duel.
Look it up, true story.
These
LOL
debates are
Sasquatch.
conducted under clearly defined
7
rules.
lies.
Each aim
OMG.
Okay, hang on.
Yes.
I'll pick it up here. Hang on. Dun, dun, dun. Let's see. It came out
9
on
lies.
ABC.
They are already asking questions.
Original. Yeah, hang on. We'll get it. Go to maybe Times of India or something. Let's see if they have a logo.
His
in here.
ideas.
They
about
shipped
what should be
20,000 of them to
backs of
Springfield,
middle-class
Ohio, a town of
people paying for tax cuts for
160,000 people.
billionaires.
Here we go.
President Trump, I'll give you 2
Sorry about
minutes.
that.
First of
Stop
all, I have
shoving
no
food in your
sales
face,
tax. That's
Tommy.
an incorrect statement. She knows
Tune in
that.
now for your
We're
scripted
doing
debate between
tariffs
an
on other
APAC
countries.
puppet
Other
and an
countries are gonna
APAC puppet,
finally, after
LOL.
Hang on.
75
Tune
years,
in now
pay us
for your
back for
scripted
all
debate
that we've
between an
done for the
APAC
world.
puppet and an
And
APAC
the
puppet,
tariff
LOL.
will be substantial in some cases. I took in
Here we go.
billions and billions of dollars, as you know, from China. In fact, they never took the tariff off because there was so much money they can't. It would totally destroy everything that they've set out to do. They're taking in billions of dollars from China and other places. They've left the tariffs on. When I had it, I had tariffs, and yet I had no inflation.
Here we go.
Look, we've had a terrible economy because inflation has, which is really known as a country buster. It breaks up countries. We have inflation like very few people have ever seen before, probably the worst in our nation's history. We were at 21%, but that's being generous because many things are 50, 60, 70, and 80% higher than they were just a few years ago. This has been a disaster for people, for the middle class, but for every class. On top of that, we have millions of people pouring into our country from prisons and jails, from mental institutions and insane asylums, and they're coming in and they're taking jobs that are occupied right now by African Americans and Hispanics, and also unions. Unions are going to be affected very soon. And you see what's happening. You see what's happening with towns throughout the United States. You look at Springfield, Ohio. You look at Aurora in Colorado. They are taking over the towns. They're taking over buildings. They're going in violently. These are the people that Xi and Biden led into our country, and they're destroying our country. They're dangerous. They're at the highest level of criminality, and we have to get them out. We have to get them out fast. I created one of the greatest economies in the history of our country. I'll do it again and even better.
We are going to get to immigration and border security during this debate, but I would like to let Vice President Harris respond on the economy here.
Well, I would love to. Let's talk about what Donald Trump left us. Donald Trump left us the worst unemployment since the Great Depression. Donald Trump left us the worst public health epidemic in a century. Donald Trump left us the worst attack on our democracy since the Civil War. And what we have done is clean up Donald Trump's mess. What we have done and what I intend to do is build on what we know are the aspirations and the hopes of the American people. But I'm going to tell you all in this debate tonight, you're going to hear from the same old tired playbook, a bunch of lies, grievances, and name-calling. What you're going to hear tonight is a detailed and dangerous plan called Project 2025 that the former president intends on implementing if he were elected again. I believe very strongly that the American people want a president who understands the importance of bringing us together, knowing we have so much more in common than what separates us. And I pledge to you to be a president for all Americans.
President Trump will give you a minute here to respond.
Number one, I have nothing to do, as you know, and as she knows better than anyone, I have nothing to do with Project 2025. That's out there. I haven't read it. I don't want to read it purposely. I'm
there
not
you go.
going to read
He's
it.
always said
This
that.
was a group
I don't
of
know why
people
the
that got
lefties
together.
are always
They came
saying
up
that.
with some ideas. I guess some good, some bad. But it makes no difference. I have nothing to do. Everybody knows I'm an open book. Everybody knows what I'm going to do. Cut taxes very substantially and create a great economy like I did before. we had the greatest economy. We got hit with a pandemic. And the pandemic was not since 1917, where 100 million people died, has there been anything like it. We did a phenomenal job with the pandemic. We handed them over a country where the economy and where the stock market was higher than it was before the pandemic came in. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. We made ventilators for the entire world. We got gowns, we got masks, we did things that nobody thought possible. And people give me credit for rebuilding the military. They give me credit for a lot of things, but not enough credit for the great job we did with the pandemic. But the only jobs they got were bounce back jobs. These were jobs bounce back, and it bounced back and it went to their benefit. But I was the one that created them. They know it, and so does everybody else.
Vice President Harris, I'll let you respond.
So Donald Trump has no plan for you. And when you look at his economic plan, it's all about tax breaks for the richest people. I am offering what I describe as an opportunity economy, and the best economists in our country, if not the world, have reviewed our relative plans for the future of America. What Goldman Sachs has said is that Donald Trump's plan would make the economy worse, mine would strengthen the economy. What the Wharton School has said is Donald Trump's plan would actually explode the deficit. 16 Nobel laureates have described his economic plan as something that would increase inflation and by the middle of next year would invite a recession. You just have to look at where we are and where we stand on the issues. And I'd invite you to know that Donald Trump actually
by the middle
has
of next
no
year.
plan for you because he is more interested in defending himself than he is in looking out for you.
Middle of next year.
I went to the Wharton School of Finance, and many of those professors, the top professors, think my plan is a brilliant plan. It's a great plan. It's a plan that's going to bring up our worth, our value as a country. It's going to make people want to be able to go and work and create jobs and create a lot of good, solid money for our country.
Look at her fast blinking.
And just to finish off, she doesn't have a plan. She copied Biden's plan, and it's like 4 sentences. Like run, spot, run. 4 sentences that are just, oh, we'll try and lower taxes. She doesn't have a plan. Take a look at her plan. She doesn't have a plan.
Mr. President, I do want to drill down on something you both brought up. The Vice President brought up your tariffs. You responded, and let's drill down on this because your plan is what she calls is essentially a national sales tax. Your proposal calls for tariffs, as you pointed out here, on foreign imports across the board. You recently said that you might double your plan, imposing tariffs up to 20% on goods coming into this country. As you know, many economists say that with tariffs at that level, costs are then passed on to the consumer. Vice President Harris has argued it'll mean higher prices on gas, food, clothing, medication, arguing it costs the typical family nearly $4,000 a year. Do you believe Americans can afford higher prices because of tariffs?
They're not going to have higher prices. What's going to have and who's going to have higher prices is China and all of the countries that have been ripping us off for years. I was the only president ever. China was paying us hundreds of billions of dollars, and so were other countries. And, you know, if she doesn't like them, they should have gone out and they should have immediately cut the tariffs. But those tariffs are there 3.5 years now under their administration. We are going to take in billions of dollars, hundreds of billions of dollars. I had no inflation, virtually no inflation. They had the highest inflation perhaps in the history of our country because I've never seen a worse period of time. People can't go out and buy cereal or bacon or eggs or anything else. The people of our country are absolutely dying with what they've done. They've destroyed the economy. And all you have to do is look at a poll. The polls say 80 and 85 and even 90% that the Trump economy was great, that their economy was terrible.
Vice President Harris, I do want to ask for your response, and you heard what the president said there, because the Biden administration did keep a number of the Trump tariffs in place. So how do you respond?
Well, let's be clear that the Trump administration resulted in a trade deficit, one of the highest we've ever seen in the history of America. He invited trade wars. You want to talk about his deal with China? What he ended up doing is under Donald Trump's presidency, he ended up selling American chips to China to help them improve and modernize their military, basically sold us out. when a policy about China should be in making sure the United States of America wins the competition for the 21st century, which means focusing on the details of what that requires, focusing on relationships with our allies, focusing on investing in American-based technology so that we win the race on AI, on quantum computing, focusing on what we need to do to support America's workforce so that we don't end up having on the short end of the stick in terms of workers' rights. But what Donald Trump did, let's talk about this, with COVID, is he actually thanked President Xi for what he did during COVID. Look at his tweet. "Thank you, President Xi," exclamation point, when we know that Xi was responsible for lacking and not giving us transparency about the origins of COVID.
President Trump, I'll let you respond.
First of all, they bought their chips from Taiwan. We hardly make chips anymore because of philosophies like they have and policies like they have. I don't say her because she has no policy. Everything that she believed 3 years ago and 4 years ago is out the window. She's going to my philosophy now. In fact, I was going to send her a MAGA hat. She's gone to my philosophy. But if she ever got elected, she'd change it. And it will be the end of our country. She's a Marxist. Everybody knows she's a Marxist. Her father's a Marxist professor in economics, and he taught her well. But when you look at what she's done to our country, and when you look at these millions and millions of people that are pouring into our country monthly, where it's, I believe, 21 million people, not the 15 that people say, and I think it's a lot higher than the 21. That's bigger than New York State pouring in. And just look at what they're doing to our country. They're criminals. Many of these people coming in are criminals. And that's bad for our economy, too. You know, you mentioned before, we'll talk about immigration later. Well, bad immigration is the worst thing that can happen to our economy. They have, and she has, destroyed our country with policy that's insane. Almost policy that you'd say they have to hate our country.
President Trump, thank you. Lindsay?
I want to turn to the issue of abortion. President Trump, you've often touted that you were able to kill Roe v. Wade. Last year, you said that you were proud to be the most pro-life president in American history. Then last month, you said that your administration would be great for women and their reproductive rights. In your home state of Florida, you surprised many with regard to your 6-week abortion ban because you initially had said that it was too short. And you said, quote, "I'm going to be voting that we need more than 6 weeks." But then the very next day, you reversed course and said you would vote to support the 6-week ban. Vice President Harris says that women shouldn't trust you on the issue of abortion because you've changed your position so many times. Therefore, why should they trust you?
Well, the reason I'm doing that vote is because the plan is, as you know, the vote is, they have abortion in the 9th month. They even have, and you can look at the governor of West Virginia, the previous governor of West Virginia, not the current governor, who's doing an excellent job, but the governor before, he said the baby will be born and we will decide what to do with the baby. In other words, we'll execute the baby. And that's why I did that, because that predominates, because they're radical. The Democrats are radical in that. And her vice presidential pick, which I think was a horrible pick, by the way, for our country, because he is really out of it. But her vice presidential pick says abortion in the 9th month is absolutely fine. He also says execution after birth. It's execution, no longer abortion, because the baby is born, is okay. And that's not okay with me, hence the vote. But what I did is something for 52 years. They've been trying to get Roe v. Wade into the states. And through the genius and heart and strength of 6 Supreme Court justices, we were able to do that. Now, I believe in the exceptions for rape, incest, and life of the mother. I believe strongly in it. Ronald Reagan did also. 85% of Republicans do. Exceptions. Very important. But we were able to get it, and now states are voting on it. And for the first time, you're going to see, look, this is an issue that's torn our country apart for 52 years. Every legal scholar, every Democrat, every Republican, liberal, conservative, they all wanted this issue to be brought back to the states where the people could vote. And that's what happened. Now, Ohio, the vote was somewhat liberal. Kansas, the vote was somewhat liberal, much more liberal than people would have thought. But each individual state is voting. It's the vote of the people now. It's not tied up in the federal government. I did a great service in doing it. It took courage to do it. And the Supreme Court had great courage in doing it. And I give tremendous credit to those 6 justices.
There is no state in this country where it is legal to kill a baby after it's born. Madam Vice President, I want to get your response to President Trump.
Well, as I said, you're going to hear a bunch of lies, and that's not actually a surprising fact. Let's understand how we got here. Donald Trump hand-selected 3 members of the United States Supreme Court with the intention that they would undo the protections of Roe v. Wade. And they did exactly as he intended. And now in over 20 states, there are Trump abortion bans, which make it criminal for a doctor or nurse to provide health care. In one state, it provides prison for life. Trump abortion bans that make no exception even for rape and incest, which understand what that means. A survivor of a crime of violation to their body does not have the right to make a decision about what happens to their body next. That is immoral. And one does not have to abandon their faith or deeply held beliefs to agree. The government, and Donald Trump certainly, should not be telling a woman what to do with her body. I have talked with women around our country. You want to talk about this is what people wanted? Pregnant women who want to carry a pregnancy to term, suffering from a miscarriage, being denied care in an emergency room because the healthcare providers are afraid they might go to jail, and she's bleeding out in a car in the parking lot. She didn't want that. Her husband didn't want that. A 12 or 13-year-old survivor of incest being forced to carry a pregnancy to term. They don't want that. And I pledge to you, when Congress passes a bill to put back in place the protections of Roe v. Wade, as President of the United States, I will proudly sign it into law. But understand, if Donald Trump were to be reelected, he will sign a national abortion ban. Understand, in his Project 2025, there would be a national abortion, a monitor that would be monitoring your pregnancies, your miscarriages. I think the American people believe that certain freedoms, in particular the freedom to make decisions about one's own body, should not be made by the government.
Thank you, Vice President Harris.
Well, there she goes again. It's a lie. I'm not signing a ban, and there's no reason to sign a ban, because we've gotten what everybody wanted. Democrats, Republicans, and everybody else, and every legal scholar wanted it to be brought back into the states. And the states are voting. And it may take a little time, but for 52 years, this issue has torn our country apart. And they've wanted it back in the states. And I did something that nobody thought was possible. The states are now voting. What she says is an absolute lie. And as far as the abortion ban, no, I'm not in favor of abortion ban, but it doesn't matter because this issue has now been taken over by the states.
Would you veto a national abortion ban if it came to
Well, I
your
won't
desk?
have to because, again, 2 things. Number one, she said she'll go back to Congress. She'll never get the vote. It's impossible for her to get the vote, especially now with the 50-50, essentially 50-50 in both Senate and the House. She's not going to get the vote.
Look at her face.
She can't get the vote. She won't even come close to it. So it's just talk. You know what it reminds me of? When they said they're going to get student loans terminated, and it ended up being a total catastrophe. The student loans, and then her, I think probably her boss, if you call him a boss, he spends all his time on the beach. But look, her boss went out and said, we'll do it again. We'll do it a different way. And he went out, got rejected again by the Supreme Court. So all these students got taunted with this whole thing about this whole idea, and how unfair that would have been. Part of the reason they lost to the millions and millions of people that had to pay off their student loans. They didn't get it for free, but they were saying it's the same way that they talked about that they talk about abortion.
But if I could just get a yes or no, because your running mate, J.D. Vance, has said that you would veto it if it did come to your desk.
Well, I didn't discuss it with J.D. In all fairness, J.D., and I don't mind if he has a certain view, but I think he was speaking for me, but I really didn't. Look, we don't have to discuss it because she'd never be able to get it, just like she couldn't get student loans. They couldn't get student loans. They didn't even come close to getting student loans. They taunted young people and a lot of other people that had loans. they can never get this approved. So it doesn't matter what she says about going to Congress. Well, wonderful. Let's go to Congress, do it. But the fact is that for years they wanted to get it out of Congress and out of the federal government. And we did something that everybody said couldn't be done. And now you have a vote of the people on abortion.
Vice President Harris, I want to give you your time to respond. But I do want to ask, would you support any restrictions on a woman's right to an abortion?
I absolutely support reinstating the protections of Roe v. Wade. And as you rightly mentioned, nowhere in America is a woman carrying a pregnancy to term and asking for an abortion. That is not happening. It's insulting to the women of America. And understand what has been happening under Donald Trump's abortion bans. Couples who pray and dream of having a family are being denied IVF treatments. What is happening in our country? Working people, working women who are working 1 or 2 jobs, who can barely afford childcare as it is, have to travel to another state to get on a plane sitting next to strangers to go and get the health care she needs. Barely can afford to do it, and what you are putting her through is unconscionable. And the people of America have not, the majority of Americans believe in a woman's right to make decisions about her own body. And that is why in every state where this issue has been on the ballot, in red and blue states both, the people of America have voted for freedom.
Vice President.
That's the point, is that it gives people that live in more like Bible thumper states that don't believe in abortion or whatever, the ability to have tighter abortion rules. That's all it is.
When they got a very negative decision on IVF from the Alabama courts, I saw the people of Alabama and the legislature 2 days later voted it in. I've been a leader on it. They know that, and everybody else knows it. I have been a leader on fertilization,
to let the
IVF.
states
and the
do
other
what they want.
You should ask, will she allow abortion in the 8th month, 9th month, 7th month?
Come on.
Okay, would you do that? Why don't you ask her that question?
Why don't you answer the question? Would you
because
veto?
under Roe v. Wade,
Answer the question, would you veto?
you could do abortions in the 7th month, the 8th
how come
month,
both
the
mics
9th
are on?
month,
Not true.
and probably after birth. Just look at the governor, former governor of Virginia. The governor of Virginia said, we put the baby aside and then we determine what we want to do with the baby.
President Trump, thank you.
We're going to turn now to immigration and border security. We know it's an issue that's important to Republicans, Democrats, voters across the board in this country. Vice President Harris, you were tasked by President Biden with getting to the root causes of migration from Central America. We know that illegal border crossings reached a record high in the Biden administration. This past June, President Biden imposed tough new asylum restrictions. We know the numbers since then have dropped significantly. But my question to you tonight is, why did the administration wait until 6 months before the election to act? And would you have done anything differently from President Biden on this?
So I'm the only person on this stage who has prosecuted transnational criminal organizations for the trafficking of guns, drugs, and human beings. And let me say that the United States Congress, including some of the most conservative members of the United States Senate, came up with a border security bill which I supported. And that bill would have put 1,500 more border agents on the border to help those folks who are working there right now overtime, trying to do their job. It would have allowed us to stem the flow of fentanyl coming into the United States. I know there are so many families watching tonight who have been personally affected by the surge of fentanyl in our country. That bill would have put more resources to allow us to prosecute transnational criminal organizations for trafficking in guns, drugs, and human beings. But you know what happened to that bill? Donald Trump got on the phone, called up some folks in Congress, and said, kill the bill. And you know why? Because he'd prefer to run on a problem instead of fixing.
No, there was a
understand,
vote for
this
9-month
comes at
abortion.
a time where the people of our country actually need a leader who engages in solutions, who actually addresses the problems at hand. But what we have in the former president is some...
President Trump, on that point, I want to get your response.
Well, I would like to respond.
Let me just ask, though, why did you try to kill that bill, and successfully so? That would have put thousands of additional agents and officers on the border.
First, let me respond as to the
Please.
rallies. She said people...
Ohio, and ABC News did reach out to the city manager there. He told us there have been no credible reports of specific claims of pets being harmed, injured, or abused by individuals within the immigrant community.
Well, I've seen people on television.
Let me just say here, this is
the people on television say my dog was taken and used for food. So maybe he said that, and maybe that's a good thing to say for a city manager.
I'm not taking this from
but
television.
But the people
I'm
on
taking it from
television
the city
saying
manager.
their dog was eaten by the people that went there.
Again, the Springfield city manager says there's no evidence of that. Vice
We'll
President
find
Harris,
out.
I'll let you respond to the rest of what you've heard.
You talk about extreme.
Oh.
You know,
dog hoax.
This is, I think, one of the reasons why in this election I actually have the endorsement of 200 Republicans who have formally worked with President Bush, Mitt Romney, and John McCain, including the endorsement of former Vice President Dick Cheney and Congress member Liz Cheney. And if you want to really know the inside track on who the former president is, if he didn't make it clear already, just ask people who have worked with him. His former chief of staff, a 4-star general, has said he has contempt for the Constitution of the United States. His former national security advisor has said he is dangerous and unfit. His former Secretary of Defense has said the nation, the republic, would never survive another Trump term.
No dogs
and when we listen to this kind of rhetoric, when the issues that affect the American people are not being addressed, I think the choice is clear in this election.
President Trump, I'll give you a quick minute to respond here.
Thank you, because when I hear that, see, I'm a different kind of a person. I fired most of those people. Not so graciously. They did bad things or a bad job. I fired them. They never fired one person. They didn't fire anybody having to do with Afghanistan and the Taliban and the 13 people whose were just killed, viciously and violently killed. And I got to know the parents and the family. They didn't fire. They should have fired all those generals, all those top people, because that was one of the most incompetently handled situations anybody has ever seen. So when somebody does a bad job, I fire him. And you take a guy like Esper. He was no good. I fired him. So he writes a book. Another one writes a book. Because with me, they can write books. With nobody else can they. But they have done such a poor job, and they never fire anybody. Look at the economy. Look at the inflation. They didn't fire any of their economists. They have the same people. That's a good way not to have books written about you. But just to finish, I got more votes than any Republican in history by far. In fact, I got more votes than any president, sitting president, in history by far.
Let me continue on immigration. It was what you wanted to talk about earlier, so let's get back to your deportation proposal that the vice president has reacted to as well. President Trump, you call this the largest domestic deportation operation in the history of our country. You say you would use the National Guard. You say if things get out of control, you'd have no problem using the U.S. military.
Police, yes.
You also said you would use local police. How would you deport 11 million undocumented immigrants? I know you believe that number is much higher. Take us through this. What does this look like? Will authorities be going door to door in this country?
Yeah, it is much higher because of them. They allowed criminals, many, many millions of criminals. They allowed terrorists. They allowed common street criminals. They allowed people to come in, drug dealers, to come into our country. And they're now in the United States and told by their countries like Venezuela, don't ever come back or we're going to kill you. Do you know that crime in Venezuela and crime in countries all over the world is way down? You know why? Because they've taken their criminals off the street and they've given them to her to put into our country. And this will be one of the greatest mistakes in history for them to allow. And I think they probably did it because they think they're going to get votes, but it's not worth it because they're destroying the fabric of our country by what they've done. There's never been anything done like this at all. They've destroyed the fabric of our country. Millions of people let in. And all over the world, crime is down. All over the world except here. Crime here is up and through the roof. Despite their fraudulent statements that they made, crime in this country is through the roof. And we have a new form of crime. It's called migrant crime. And it's happening at levels that nobody thought possible.
President Trump, as you know, the FBI says overall violent crime is actually coming down in this country. But Vice
Excuse
President
me,
Harris,
the FBI they were defrauding statements. They didn't include the worst cities. They didn't include the cities with the worst crime. It was a fraud, just like their number of 818,000 jobs that they said they created turned out to be a fraud.
President Trump, thank you. I'll let you respond, Vice President Harris.
Well, I think this is so rich, coming from someone who has been prosecuted for national security crimes, economic crimes, election interference, has been found liable for sexual assault, and his next big court appearance is in November at his own criminal sentencing.
She didn't say guilty.
And let's be clear where each person stands on the issue of what is important about respect for the rule of law and respect for law enforcement. The former vice president called for defunding federal law enforcement, 45,000 agents, get this, on the day after he was arraigned on 34 felony counts. So let's talk about what is important in this race. It is important that we move forward, that we turn the page on this same old tired rhetoric and address the needs of the American people, address what we need to do about the housing shortage, which I have a plan for.
You have the chance to do
address
that
what
right
we
now.
must do to support our small businesses, address bringing down the price of groceries. But frankly, the American people are exhausted
The communist
with
way.
the same old tired playbook.
Vice President Harris, thank you.
Excuse me. Every one of those cases was started by them against their political opponent. And I'm winning most of them, and I will win the rest on appeal. And you saw that with the decision that came down just recently from the Supreme Court. I'm winning most of them. But those are cases, it's called weaponization. Never happened in this country. They weaponized the Justice Department. Every one of those cases was involved with the DOJ, from Atlanta and Fani Willis to the Attorney General of New York and the DA in New York. Every one of those cases. And then they say, oh, he's a criminal. They're the ones that made them go after me. By the way, Joe Biden was found essentially guilty on the documents case. And what happened in my documents case? They said, oh, that's the toughest of them all. A complete and total victory. 2 months ago, it was thrown out. It's weaponization, and they used it, and it's never happened in this country. They used it to try and win an election. They're fake cases.
President Trump, thank you. A really quick response here, Vice President Harris, on this notion of weaponization of the Justice Department.
Well, let's talk about extreme and understand the context in which this election in 2024 is taking place. The United States Supreme Court recently ruled that the former president would essentially be immune from any misconduct if he were to enter the White House again. Understand, this is someone who has openly said he would terminate, I'm quoting, terminate the Constitution of the United States, that he would weaponize the Department of Justice against his political enemies. Someone who has openly expressed disdain for members of our military. Understand what it would mean if Donald Trump were back in the White House with no guardrails, because certainly we know now the court won't stop him. We know J.D. Vance is not going to stop him. It's up to the American people
Vice President
to stop
Harris,
him.
Thank you. Lindsay?
Vice President Harris, in your last run for president.
This is the one that weaponized, not me. She weaponized. I probably took a bullet to the head because of the things that they say about me. They talk about democracy. I'm a threat to democracy. They're the threat to democracy with a fake Russia investigation that went nowhere.
We have a lot to get to. Lindsay?
Vice President Harris, in your last run for president, you said you wanted to ban fracking. Now you don't. You wanted mandatory government buyback programs for assault weapons. Now your campaign says you don't. You supported decriminalizing border crossings. Now you're taking a harder line. I know you say that your values have not changed. So then why have so many of your policy positions changed?
So my values have not changed, and I'm going to discuss every one of the, at least every point that you've made. But in particular, let's talk about fracking, because we're here in Pennsylvania. I made that very clear in 2020. I will not ban fracking. I have not banned fracking as Vice President of the United States. And in fact, I was the tie-breaking vote on the Inflation Reduction Act, which opened new leases for fracking.
In 2019, she wanted to ban fracking.
My position is that we have got to invest in diverse sources of energy so we reduce our reliance on foreign oil. We have had the largest increase in domestic oil production in history because of an approach that recognizes that we cannot over-rely on foreign oil. As it relates to my values, let me tell you, I grew up a middle-class kid raised by a hardworking mother who worked and saved and was able to buy our first home when I was a teenager. The values I bring to the importance of home ownership, knowing not everybody got handed $400 million on a silver platter and then filed bankruptcy 6 times, is a value that I bring to my work to say we are going to work with the private sector and home builders to increase 3 million homes, increase by 3 million homes by the end of my first term. My work that is related to having a friend when I was in high school who was sexually assaulted by her stepfather. And my focus then on protecting women and children from violent crime is based on a value that is deeply grounded in the importance of standing up for those who are most vulnerable. My work that is about protecting Social Security and Medicare is based on long-standing work that I have done, protecting seniors from scams. My values have not changed. And what is important is that there is a president who actually brings values and a perspective that is about lifting people up and not beating people down and name-calling. The true measure of the leader is the leader who actually understands the strength is not in beating people down, it's in lifting people up. I intend to be that president.
President Trump, your
Well,
response?
first of all, I wasn't given $400 million. I wish I was. My father was a Brooklyn builder, Brooklyn, Queens, and a great father, and I learned a lot from him. But I was given a fraction of that, a tiny fraction, and I built it into many, many billions of dollars, many, many billions. And when people see it, they are even surprised. So we don't have to talk about that. Fracking, she's been against it for 12 years. Defund the police, she's been against that forever. She gave all that stuff up very wrongly, very horribly, and everybody's laughing at it, okay? They're all laughing at it. She gave up at least 12 and probably 14 or 15 different policies. Like, she was big on defund the police. In Minnesota, she went out, wait a minute, I'm talking now, if you don't mind, please. Does that sound familiar? She went out in Minnesota and wanted to let criminals that killed people, that burned down Minneapolis, she went out and raised money to get them out of jail. She did things that nobody would ever think of. Now she wants to do transgender operations on illegal aliens that are in prison. This is a radical left liberal that would do this.
What next?
She wants to confiscate your guns, and she will never allow fracking in Pennsylvania. If she won the election, fracking in Pennsylvania will end on day one. Just to finish, one thing so important in my opinion. So I got the oil business going like nobody has ever done before. When they took over, they got rid of it, started getting rid of it, and the prices were going up the roof. They immediately let these guys go to where they were. I would have been 5 times, 4 times, 5 times higher, because you're talking about 3.5 years ago. They got it up to where I was because they had no choice, because the prices of energy were quadrupling and doubling. You saw what happened to gasoline. So they said, let's go back to Trump. But if she won the election, the day after that election, they'll go back to destroying our country, and oil will be dead, fossil fuel will be dead, we'll go back to windmills, and we'll go back to solar, where they need a whole desert to get some energy to come out of. You ever see a solar plant? By the way, I'm a big fan of solar, but they take 400, 500 acres of desert
President
soil.
Trump, we have a
These
lot
are
of
not good
issues
things
that we
for the
have to get
environment,
to.
as
We're
she
out of time.
understands.
Thank you.
Lindsay, thank you. We have an election in just 56 days. And I want to talk about the peaceful transfer of power, which, of course, we all know is a cornerstone of our democracy, and the role of a president in a moment of crisis. Mr. President, on January 6th, you told your supporters to march to the Capitol. You said you would be right there with them. The country and the world saw what played out at the Capitol that day, the officers coming under attack. Aides in the West Wing say you watched it unfold on television off the Oval Office. You did send out tweets, but it was more than 2 hours before you sent out that video message telling your supporters to go home. Is there anything you regret about what you did on that day?
You just said a thing that isn't covered. Peacefully and patriotically, I said during my speech, not later on. peacefully and patriotically. And nobody on the other side was killed. Ashley Babbitt was shot by an out-of-control police officer that should have never, ever shot her. It's a disgrace. But we didn't do this group of people that have been treated so badly. I ask, what about all the people that are pouring into our country and killing people that she allowed to pour in? She was the border czar, remember that. She was the border czar. She doesn't want to be called the border czar because she's embarrassed by the border. In fact, she said at the beginning, oh, I'm surprised you're not talking about the border yet. That's because she knows what a bad job they've done. What about those people? When are they going to be prosecuted? When are these people from countries all over the world, not just South America? They're coming in from all over the world, David, all over the world. And crime rates are down all over the world because of it.
But let me just ask you,
David, when are those people going to be prosecuted? When are the people that burned down Minneapolis going to be prosecuted? Or in Seattle? They went into Seattle. They took over a big percentage of the city of Seattle. When are those people going to be prosecuted?
But let me just ask you.
You might ask her that question.
You were the president. You were watching it unfold on television. It's a very simple question as we move forward toward another election. Is there anything you regret about what you did on that day? Yes or no?
I had nothing to do with that other than they asked me to make a speech. I showed up for a speech. I said, I think it's going to be big. I went to Nancy Pelosi and the mayor of Washington, D.C., and the mayor put it back in writing, as you know. I said, you know, this is going to be a very big rally or whatever you want to call it. And again, it wasn't done by me. It was done by others. I said, I'd like to give you 10,000 National Guard or soldiers. They rejected me. Nancy Pelosi rejected me. It was just 2 weeks ago, her daughter has a tape of her saying she is fully responsible for what happened. They want to get rid of that tape. It would have never happened if Nancy Pelosi and the mayor of Washington did their jobs. I wasn't responsible for security. Nancy Pelosi was responsible. She didn't do her job.
The question was about you as president, not about former Speaker Pelosi. But I do want Vice President Harris to respond here.
I was at the Capitol on January 6th. I was the vice president-elect. I was also an acting senator. I was there. And on that day, the President of the United States incited a violent mob to attack our nation's capital, to desecrate our nation's capital. On that day, 140 law enforcement officers were injured, and some died. And understand, the former president has been indicted and impeached for exactly that reason. But this is not an isolated situation. Let's remember Charlottesville, where there was a mob of people carrying tiki torches, spewing anti-Semitic hate. And what did the president then at the time say? There were fine people on each side. Let's remember that when it came to the Proud Boys, a militia, the president said, the former president said, stand back and stand by. So for everyone watching who remembers what January 6th was, I say, we don't have to go back. Let's not go back. We're not going back. It's time to turn the page. And if that was a bridge too far for you, well, there is a place in our campaign for you to stand for country, to stand for our democracy, to stand for rule of law, and to end the chaos, and to end the approach that is about attacking the foundations of our democracy because you don't like the outcome. And be clear on that point. Donald Trump, the candidate, has said in this election there will be a bloodbath if this and the outcome of this election is not to his liking. Let's turn the page on this. Let's not go back. Let's chart a course for the future and not go backwards to the past.
Let me just follow up here.
It was a different term, and it was a term that related to energy because
I saw
they destroyed
BLM
our
and
energy
Antifa
business. That
lefties
was where bloodbath
doing
was.
way more
also,
damage.
on Charlottesville, that story has been, as you would say, debunked. Laura Ingraham, Sean Hannity, Jesse, all of these people, they covered it. If they go an extra sentence, they will see it was perfect. It was debunked in almost every newspaper, but they still bring it up, just like they bring 2025 up. They bring all of this stuff up. I ask you this. You talk about the Capitol. Why are we allowing these millions of people to come through on the southern border. How come she's not doing anything? And I'll tell you what I would do, and I would be very proud to do it. I would say we would both leave this debate right now. I'd like to see her go down to Washington, D.C. during this debate, because we're wasting a lot of time. Go down to, because she's been so bad, it's so ridiculous. Go down to Washington, D.C. and let her sign a bill to close up the border, because they have the right to do it. They don't need bills. They have the right to do it. The President of the United States, you'll get him out of bed, you'll wake him up at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, you'll say, come on down to the office, let's sign a bill. If he signs a bill that the border is closed, all he has to do is say it to the Border Patrol, who are phenomenal. If they do that, the border is closed.
Mr.
Those
President,
people are killing many people, unlike J6.
We talked immigration here tonight. I do want to focus on this next issue to both of you, because it really brings us this into focus, truth in these times that we're living in. Mr. President, for 3.5 years after you lost the 2020 election, you repeatedly falsely claimed that you won, many times saying you won in a landslide. In the past couple of weeks leading up to this debate, you have said, quote, you lost by a whisker, that you, quote, didn't quite make it, that you came up a little bit short.
I said that?
Are you now acknowledging that you lost in 2020?
No, I don't acknowledge that at all.
But
I
you
said
did
that
say
sarcastically.
That.
You know that. It was said, oh, we lost by a whisker. That was said sarcastically. Look, there's so much proof. All you have to do is look at it. And they should have sent it back to the legislatures for approval. I got almost 75 million votes, the most votes any sitting president has ever gotten. I was told if I got 63, which was what I got in 2016, you can't be beaten. The election, people should never be thinking about an election as fraudulent. We need two things. We need walls, and we have to have it. We have to have borders, and we have to have good elections. Our elections are bad. And a lot of these illegal immigrants coming in, they're trying to get them to vote. They can't even speak English. They don't even know what country they're in practically. And these people are trying to get them to vote. And that's why they're allowing them to come into our country.
I did watch all of these pieces of video. I didn't detect the sarcasm, lost by a whisker. We didn't quite make it. And we should just point out here as clarification, and you know this, you and your allies, 60 cases in front of many judges, many of them Republican.
No judge looked at it.
And said
they
there was
said
no
we didn't have standing.
Fraud.
That's the other thing. They said we didn't have standing, a technicality. Can you imagine a system where a person in an election doesn't have standing? The President of the United States doesn't have standing. That's how we lost. If you look at the facts, and I'd love to have you'll do a special on it. I'll show you Georgia, and I'll show you Wisconsin, and I'll show you Pennsylvania, and I'll show you. We have so many facts and statistics, but you know what? That doesn't matter, because we have to solve the problem that we have right now. That's old news. And the problem that we have right now is we have a nation in decline, and they have put it into decline. We have a nation that is dying, David.
Mr. President, thank you. Vice President Harris, you heard the president there tonight. He said he didn't say that he lost by a whisker. So he still believes he did not lose the election that was won by President Biden and yourself. But I do want to ask you about something that's come up in the last couple of days. This was a post from President Trump about this upcoming election just weeks away. He said, when I win, those people who cheated, and then he lists donors, voters, election officials, he says will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law, which will include long-term prison sentences. One of your campaign's top lawyers responded saying, we won't let Donald Trump intimidate us. We won't let him suppress the vote. Is that what you believe he's trying to do here?
Donald Trump says you have lost because you did, in fact, lose that election. It leads one to believe that perhaps we do not have in the candidate to my right the temperament or the ability to not be confused about fact. That's deeply troubling, and the American people deserve better.
I'll give you 1 minute to respond, Mr. President.
Let me just say about world leaders. Victor
Well, he's already
Orban, one of the
been
most
president,
respected men. They call him a strong man. He's a tough person, smart. Prime Minister of Hungary. They said, why is the whole world blowing up? 3 years ago it wasn't. Why is it blowing up? He said, because you need Trump back as president. They were afraid of him. China was afraid, and I don't like to use the word afraid, but I'm just quoting him. China was afraid of him. North Korea was afraid of him. Look at what's going on with North Korea, by the way. He said Russia was afraid of him. I ended the Nord Stream 2 pipeline, and Biden put it back on day one, but he ended the XL pipeline. The XL pipeline in our country. He ended that. But he let the Russians build a pipeline going all over Europe and heading into Germany, the biggest pipeline in the world. Look, Viktor Orban said it. He said the most respected, most feared person is Donald Trump. We had no problems when Trump was president. But when this weak, pathetic man that you saw at a debate just a few months ago, that if he weren't in that debate, he'd be running instead of her. She got no votes. He got 14 million votes. What you did, you talk about a threat to democracy. He got 14 million votes, and they threw him out of office. And you know what? I'll give you a little secret. He hates her. He can't stand her. But he got 14 million votes. They threw him out. She got 0 votes. And when she ran, she was the first one to leave because she failed. And now she's running. I don't understand it, but I'm okay with it because
your time is
I think we're going to do very well.
We've got a lot more to get to.
Turning now to the Israel-Hamas war and the hostages who are still being held, Americans among them. Vice President Harris, in December, you said, quote, Israel has a right to defend itself, but you added, quote, it matters how, saying international humanitarian law must be respected. Israel must do more to protect innocent civilians. You said that 9 months ago. Now an estimated 40,000 Palestinians are dead. Nearly 100 hostages remain. Just last week, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said there's not a deal in the making. President Biden has not been able to break through the stalemate. How would you do it?
Well, let's understand.
President Trump, how would you negotiate with Netanyahu and also Hamas in order to get the hostages out and prevent the killing of more innocent civilians in Gaza?
If I were president, it would have never started. If I were president, Russia would have never, ever, I know Putin very well, he would have never, and there was no threat of it either, by the way, for 4 years, have gone into Ukraine and killed millions of people when you add it up, far worse than people understand what's going on over there. But when she mentions about Israel, all of a sudden, she hates Israel. She wouldn't even meet with Netanyahu when he went to Congress to make a very important speech. She refused to be there because she was at a sorority party of hers. She wanted to go to the sorority party. She hates Israel. If she's president, I believe that Israel will not exist within 2 years from now. And I've been pretty good at predictions, and I hope I'm wrong about that one. She hates Israel. At the same time, in her own way, she hates the Arab population, because the whole place is going to get blown up. Arabs, Jewish people, Israel will be gone. It would have never happened. Iran was broke under Donald Trump. Now Iran has $300 billion because they took off all the sanctions that I had. Iran had no money for Hamas or Hezbollah or any of the 28 different spheres of terror. And they are spheres of terror, horrible terror. They had no money. It was a big story, and you know it. You covered it very well, actually. They had no money for terror. They were broke. Now they're a rich nation, and now what they're doing is they're spreading that money around. Look at what's happening with the Houthis and Yemen. Look at what's going on in the Middle East. This would have never happened. I will get that settled and fast, and I'll get the war with Ukraine and Russia ended. If I'm president-elect, I'll get it done before even becoming president.
Vice President Harris, he says you hate Israel.
That's absolutely not true. I have my entire career and life supported Israel and the Israeli people. He knows that. He's trying to, again, divide and distract from the reality, which is it is very well known that Donald Trump is weak and wrong on national security and foreign policy. It is well known that he admires dictators, wants to be a dictator on day one, according to himself. It is well known that he said of Putin that he can do whatever the hell he wants and go into Ukraine. It is well known that he said when Russia went into Ukraine, it was brilliant. It is well known he exchanged love letters with Kim Jong-un, and it is absolutely well known that these dictators and autocrats are rooting for you to be president again because they're so clear they can manipulate you with flattery and favors. And that is why so many military leaders who you have worked with have told me you are a disgrace. That is why We understand that we have to have a president who is not consistently weak and wrong on
Vice
national
President
security,
Harris.
including the importance of upholding and respecting in highest regard our military.
Vice President Harris, thank you.
They're the ones, and she's the one that caused it, that's weak
In
on national
highest
security
regard, our
by allowing
military.
every nation last month for the year, 168 different countries sending people into our country. Their crime rates are way down. Putin endorsed her last week, said, I hope she wins. And I think he meant it, because what he's gotten away with is absolutely incredible. It wouldn't have happened with me. The leaders of other countries think that they're weak and incompetent, and they are. They're grossly incompetent. And I just ask one question. Why does Biden go in and kill the Keystone Pipeline and approve the single biggest deal that Russia's ever made, Nord Stream 2, the biggest pipeline anywhere in the world going to Germany and all over Europe? Because they're weak and they're ineffective. And Biden, by the way,
President
gets paid
Trump,
a lot of money.
Thank you. We have a lot of issues to get to.
We'll be right back with much more of this historic ABC News presidential debate from the National Constitution Center right here in Philadelphia. Back in a moment.
Okay, so, oops. Just hit that music there. Yeah, looks like they're taking a commercial break or something there. Well, that's quite interesting so far. Like, if you want my take, it's definitely high tension, high stakes, lots of talk. A lot of the talking points we've heard before, although it's kind of interesting to hear her pre-planned hit job on Trump in, trying to poke at the different things that he's done, that haven't been all that great. But honestly, they're both doing a pretty good job. Actually, I was thinking about that while I left for a moment there, that I'm surprised at her ability to debate. She's actually doing quite well. That's just my take. You know what I mean? But you're going to have a different take depending on which side. If you love her, well, you're going to say she did really great and she won the debate. On the other hand, if you're a Trumpster, it doesn't matter whether you put it this way: the things that she says that are negative to Trump are not going to make any difference to you. You're still going to like Trump. You're still going to vote for Trump, and at the end of the day, you're going to say that she did a bad job. She's definitely left wing, and she isn't really convincing at all to me, in the sense that she says that she's going to tighten up the border while they've had 3.5 years to tighten up the border. And let's face it, and they hate it when I say that, the lefties of the world that want to have free, open borders and are like in tune with the one world policy, and open borders is the one world policy. That's what it is, right? It's like, and then eventually you make the government one government, right, that really rules over the entire world. And that's what the WEF and all the rest of these guys at the top, they're trying to tell the world what to do. Climate change, and you better stop using oil, and all the rest of it. It's coming from the top down. Some of it is good, some of it is bad, but be careful. And there's a lot of conspiracy theory with it there too. But so far it's kind of an interesting debate. I think that it's turned out quite well. Trump, he got a little bit agitated there, a little bit upset, you could tell. But he's doing pretty good. She, like I said, she's doing a really good job in that she's defending herself and, coming up with stuff that Trump has done that the Democrats don't like and that point out in their ads and stuff like that. So you have to give, her credit for, trying to do a good job. But they're still, doing the same old stuff. They're not going to change anything that they're doing now. They're still going to try and give away taxpayer money to get votes with different things, with their different programs. You know what I mean? She tried copying Trump on giving no taxes on tips for the waitresses and things like that. So, and she's flip-flopped. Trump has said there are 12 different cases that she's flip-flopped on different things, eh? Yeah, she said that Trump is sending love letters to North Korea, his his buddy leader of North Korea. Give me Kim Jong Il or whatever. Kim Jong. Yeah, love letters. Yeah. Well, you know what? Trump had a meeting with him, and Trump had a mindset that, hey, we're not going to bomb you, and you don't bomb us, and let's just try and be civil with each other. You know what I mean? That's what his meeting was. It wasn't a freaking love letter. Like, he had very good diplomatic meetings with various leaders all over the place. So you have to give Trump credit for keeping the peace in the world, which Biden and the Democrats are unable to do because they don't have a tough leader. Biden wasn't a tough leader. You know, imagine Biden meeting with another world leader. He'd be like, hey, I can beat Trump in golf, you know. Did you hear? Yeah, right. And now you're going to have her, which she doesn't appear to be very tough. That's for sure. You know, well, she's maybe tough in the sense, you know what? You know, she's a lawyer. And in a lot of ways, lawyers have to put on a persona of being a tough guy. You know what I mean? So, you know, if anybody, if a woman is going to be a tough guy, you know, definitely a lawyer is going to be the woman that's going to be a tough guy. And, you know, nothing, you know, misogynistic about me talking like that about women. You know, kudos on her for, you know, rising to the top. How she did it, I don't know. I've heard stories about how she rose to the top too, you know. Okay, let's get back to the story here. Hang on. At hand here.
War. I want the war to stop. I want to save lives that are being uselessly, people being killed by the millions. It's the millions. It's so much worse than the numbers that you're getting, which are fake numbers. Look, we're in for 250 billion or more because they don't ask Europe, which is a much bigger beneficiary to getting this thing done than we are. They're in for $150 billion less because Biden and you don't have the courage to ask Europe like I did with NATO. They paid billions and billions, hundreds of billions of dollars when I said, either you pay up or we're not going to protect you anymore. So that's maybe one of the reasons they don't like me as much as they like weak people. But you take a look at what's happening. We're in for 250 to 275 billion. They're into 100 to 150. They should be forced to equalize. With that being said, I want to get the war settled. I know Zelensky very well, and I know Putin very well. I have a good relationship, and they respect your president, okay? They respect me. They don't respect Biden. How would you respect him? Why? For what reason? He hasn't even made a phone call in 2 years to Putin, hasn't spoken to anybody. They don't even try and get it. That is a war that's dying to be settled. I will get it settled before I even become president. If I win, when I'm president-elect, and what I'll do is I'll speak to one, I'll speak to the other, I'll get them together. That war would have never happened. And in fact, when I saw Putin after I left, unfortunately left because our country has gone to hell. But after I left, when I saw him building up soldiers, he did it after I left. I said, oh, he must be negotiating. It must be a good, strong point of negotiation. Well, it wasn't, because Biden had no idea how to talk to him. He had no idea how to stop it. And now you have millions of people dead, and it's only getting worse, and it could lead to World War III. Don't kid yourself, David. We're playing with World War III, and we have a president that we don't even know if he's... Where is our president? We don't even know if he's a president.
And just to clarify
here... They threw him out of a campaign like a dog. We don't even know. Is he our president? But we have a president,
Mr. President,
that doesn't know he's alive.
Your time is up. Just to clarify in the question, do you believe it's in the U.S. best interest for Ukraine to win this war, yes or no?
I think it's the U.S. best interest to get this war finished and just get it done.
All right.
Negotiate a deal, because we have to stop all of these human lives from being destroyed.
I want to take this to Vice President Hariss. I want to get your thoughts on support for Ukraine in this moment, but also, as Commander-in-Chief, if elected, how would you deal with Vladimir Putin, and would it be any different from what we're seeing from President Biden?
Well, first of all, it's important to remind the former president, you're not running against Joe Biden, you're running against me. I believe the reason that Donald Trump says that this war would be over within 24 hours is because he would just give it up.
Administration is the same.
And that's not who we are as Americans. Let's understand what happened here. I actually
is the same.
met with Zelensky a few days before Russia invaded, tried through force to change territorial boundaries, to defy one of the most important international rules and norms, which is the importance of sovereignty and territorial integrity. And I met with President Zelensky. I shared with him American intelligence about how he could defend himself. Days later, I went to NATO's eastern flank, to Poland and Romania. And through the work that I and others did, we brought 50 countries together to support Ukraine in its righteous defense. And because of our support, because of the air defense, the ammunition, the artillery, the javelins, the Abrams tanks that we have provided, Ukraine stands as an independent and free country. If Donald Trump were president, Putin would be sitting in Kyiv right now. And understand what that would mean, because Putin's agenda is not just about Ukraine. Understand why the European allies and our NATO allies are so thankful that you are no longer president, and that we understand the importance of the greatest military alliance the world has ever known, which is NATO, and what we have done to preserve the ability of Zelensky and the Ukrainians to fight for their independence. Otherwise, Putin would be sitting in Kyiv with his eyes on the rest of Europe, starting with Poland. And why don't you tell the 800,000 Polish Americans right here in Pennsylvania how quickly you would give up for the sake of favor and what you think is a friendship with what is known to be a dictator who would eat you for lunch.
Vice President Hariss, thank you. We've heard from both of you on Ukraine tonight. Afghanistan came up in the last hour. I wanted her to respond to something you said earlier, and I'll give you a minute here.
Putin would be sitting in Moscow, and he wouldn't have lost 300,000 men and women, but he would have been sitting in Moscow. Quiet, please. He would have been sitting in Moscow, much happier than he is right now. But eventually, you know, he's got a thing that other people don't have. He's got nuclear weapons. They don't ever talk about that. He's got nuclear weapons. Nobody ever thinks about that. And eventually, maybe he'll use them, and maybe he hasn't been that threatening, but he does have that. Something we don't even like to talk about. Nobody likes to talk about it. But just so you understand, they sent her to negotiate peace before this war started. 3 days later, he went in and he started the war because everything they said was weak and stupid. They said the wrong things. That war should have never started. She was the emissary. They sent her in to negotiate with Zelensky and Putin, and she did. And the war started 3 days later. And that's the kind of talent we have with her. She's worse than Biden. In my opinion, I think he's the worst president in the history of our country. She goes down as the worst vice president in the history of our country. But let me tell you something. She is a horrible negotiator. They sent her in to negotiate. As soon as they left, Putin did the invasion.
President Trump, thank you. You did bring up something. You said she went to negotiate with Vladimir Putin. Vice President Hariss, have you ever met Vladimir Putin? Can you clarify tonight?
Yet again, I said it at the beginning of this debate, you're going to hear a bunch of lies coming from this fellow. And that is another one. When I went to meet with President Zelensky, I've now met with him over 5 times. The reality is it has been about standing as America always should, as a leader upholding international rules and norms, as a leader who shows strength, understanding that the alliances we have around the world are dependent on our ability to look out for our friends and not favor our enemies because you adore strongmen instead of caring about democracy. And that is very much what is at stake here. The President of the United States is commander-in-chief. And the American people have a right to rely on a president who understands the significance of America's role and responsibility in terms of ensuring that there is stability and ensuring we stand up for our principles and not sell them for the benefit of personal flattery.
We've talked about Ukraine and Vladimir Putin. I do want to talk about Afghanistan. It came up in the first hour of this debate. I want to move on to Afghanistan.
Stoltenberg said Trump did the most amazing thing I've ever seen. He got these countries, the 28 countries at the time, to pay up. He said, I've never seen. He's the head of NATO. He said, I've never seen. For years, we were paying almost all of NATO. We were being ripped off by European nations, both on trade and on NATO. I got them to pay up by saying one of the statements you made before, if you don't pay, we're not going to protect you.
President
Otherwise,
Trump.
we would have never gotten it. He said it was one of the most incredible jobs that he's ever seen done.
Thank you. I want to turn to Afghanistan. It came up in the first hour of the debate, and we witnessed a poignant moment today on Capitol Hill, honoring the soldiers who died in the chaotic withdrawal from Afghanistan. I do want to ask the Vice President, do you believe you bear any responsibility in the way that withdrawal played out?
Well, I will tell you, I agreed with President Biden's decision to pull out of Afghanistan. 4 presidents said they would, and Joe Biden did. And as a result, America's taxpayers are not paying the $300 million a day we were paying for that endless war. And as of today, there is not one member of the United States military who is in active duty in a combat zone in any war zone around the world, the first time this century. But let's understand how we got to where we are. Donald Trump, when he was president, negotiated one of the weakest deals you can imagine. He calls himself a deal maker. Even his national security advisor said it was a weak, terrible deal. And here's how it went down. He bypassed the Afghan government. He negotiated directly with a terrorist organization called the Taliban. The negotiation involved the Taliban getting 5,000 Taliban terrorists released. And get this, and the president at the time invited the Taliban to Camp David, a place of storied significance for us as Americans, a place where we honor the importance of American diplomacy, where we invite and receive respected world leaders. And this former president, as president, invited them to Camp David because he does not again appreciate the role and responsibility of the President of the United States to be commander-in-chief with a level of respect. And this gets back to the point of how he has consistently disparaged and demeaned members of our military,
to the table
fallen soldiers,
to discuss the problem.
and the work that we must do to uphold the strength and the respect of the United States of America around the world.
Vice President Harris, thank you. President Trump, your response to
Regardless
saying
if it's
you began the
terrorist
negotiations
or
with
whatever.
the Taliban.
So
Taliban.
if you take a look at that period of time, the Taliban was killing our soldiers, a lot of them, with snipers. And I got involved with the Taliban because the Taliban was doing the killing. That's the fighting force within Afghanistan. They don't bother doing that because, they deal with the wrong people all the time. But I got involved. And Abdul is the head of the Taliban. He is still the head of the Taliban. And I told Abdul, don't do it anymore. You do it anymore, you're going to have problems. And he said, why do you send me a picture of my house? I said, you're going to have to figure that out, Abdul. And for 18 months, we had nobody killed. We did have an agreement negotiated by Mike Pompeo. It was a very good agreement. The reason it was good, we were getting out. We would have been out faster than them, but we wouldn't have lost the soldiers. We wouldn't have left many Americans behind, and we wouldn't have left $85 billion worth of brand new, beautiful military equipment behind. And just to finish, they blew it. The agreement said you have to do this, and they didn't do it. They didn't do it. The agreement was terminated by us because they didn't do what they were supposed to do.
I want to move on.
And these people did the worst withdrawal, and in my opinion, the most embarrassing moment in the history of our country. And by the way, that's why Russia attacked Ukraine, because they saw how incompetent she and her boss are.
President Trump, thank you. I want to move on now to race and politics in this country. Mr. President, you recently said of Vice President Harris, quote, I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black. I want to ask a bigger picture question here tonight. Why do you believe it's appropriate to weigh in on the racial identity of your opponent?
I don't, and I don't care. I don't care what she is. I don't care. You make a big deal out of something. I couldn't care less. Whatever she wants to be is okay with me.
But those were your words, so I'm asking.
I don't know. I mean, all I can say is I read where she was not black, that she put out, and I'll say that. And then I read that she was black, and that's okay. Either one was okay with me. That's up to her. That's up to her.
Vice President Harris, your thoughts on this?
I think honestly, I think it's tragedy that we have someone who wants to be president who has consistently, over the course of his career, attempted to use race to divide the American people. You know, I do believe that the vast majority of us know that we have so much more in common than what separates us, and we don't want this kind of approach that is just constantly trying to divide us, and especially by race. And let's remember how Donald Trump started. He was land, he owned buildings, and he was investigated because he refused to rent property to black families. Of 5 young black and Latino boys who were innocent, the Central Park 5 took out a full-page ad calling for their execution. This is the same individual who spread birther lies about the first black president of the United States. And I think the American people want better than that, want better than this, want someone who understands, as I do, I travel our country. We see in each other a friend. We see in each other a neighbor. We don't want a leader who is constantly trying to have Americans point their fingers at each other. I meet with people all the time who tell me, can we please just have discourse about how we're going to invest in the aspirations and the ambitions and the dreams of the American people? Knowing that regardless of people's color or the language their grandmother speaks, we all have the same dreams and aspirations and want a president who invests in those, not in hate and division.
Vice President Harris, thank you. Lindsay?
President Trump, this is now your 3rd time.
This is the most divisive presidency in the history of our country. There's never been anything like it. They're destroying our country, and they come up with things like what she just said. Going back many, many years, when a lot of people, including Mayor Bloomberg, agreed with me on the Central Park 5, they admitted, they said, they pled guilty. And I said, well, if they pled guilty, they badly hurt a person, killed a person ultimately. And if they pled guilty, then they pled, we're not guilty. But this is a person that has to stretch back years, 40, 50 years ago, because there's nothing now. I built one of the greatest economies in the history of the world, and I'm going to build it again. It's going to be bigger, better, and stronger. But they're destroying our economy. They have no idea what a good economy is. Their oil policies, every single policy. And remember this, she is Biden. You know, she's trying to get away from Biden. I don't know the gentleman, she says. She is Biden. The worst inflation we've ever had, a horrible economy because inflation has made it so bad, and she can't get away with that.
Thank you. Your time is up, Lindsay.
I want to respond to that, though. I want to just respond briefly.
Playing the
Clearly,
race card.
I am not Joe Biden, and I am certainly not Donald Trump. And what I do offer is a new generation of leadership for our country. One who believes in what is possible, one who brings a sense of optimism about what we can do instead of always disparaging the American people. I believe in what we can do to strengthen our small businesses, which is why I have a plan. Let's talk about our plans and let's compare the plans. I have a plan to give startup businesses $50,000 tax deduction, to pursue their ambitions, their innovation, their ideas, their hard work. I have a plan, $6,000 for young families for the first year of your child's life, to help you in that most critical stage of your child's development. I have a plan that is about allowing people to be able to pursue what has been fleeting in terms of the American dream by offering a help with down payment of $25,000 down payment assistance for first-time home buyers. That's the kind of conversation, I believe, David, that people really want tonight, as opposed to a conversation that is constantly about belittling and name-calling. Let's turn the page
Vice President
and move
Harris,
forward.
thank you. Let's turn to policy.
President Trump, we have to move on. President Trump.
Let's turn to policy, please.
She has a plan to defund the police. She has a plan to confiscate everybody's gun.
President Trump,
she
we
has
do
a
have to
plan
move on to
not
other
allow
issues.
fracking in Pennsylvania or anywhere else.
Okay.
That's
Mr.
what her
President.
plan is until just recently.
I just need
Lindsay,
to
go ahead.
respond
No,
because
Trump-
no, the
President
former
Trump-
president has said
No, I'm
something
sorry.
twice that I need to
No,
respond to.
I'm sorry.
I
We're
just
going
need
to move on,
respond
Vice
one
President
time
Harris.
to what he has
President
said
Trump, this
multiple
is
times.
now your
Yes.
third time running for president. You have long vowed to repeal and replace the Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare. You have failed to accomplish that. You now say you're going to keep Obamacare, quote, unless we can do something much better.
Correct.
Last month, you said, quote, we're working on it. So tonight, 9 years after you first started running, do you have a plan, and can you tell us what it is?
Obamacare was lousy health care, always was. It's not very good today. And what I said, that if we come up with something, and we are working on things, we're going to do it and we're going to replace it. But remember this, I inherited Obamacare because Democrats wouldn't change it. They wouldn't vote for it. They were unanimous. They wouldn't vote to change it. If they would have done that, we would have had a much better plan than Obamacare. But the Democrats came up, they wouldn't vote for it. I had a choice to make when I was president. Do I save it and make it as good as it can be, never going to be great, or do I let it rot? And I felt I had an obligation, even though politically it would have been good to just let it rot and let it go away. I decided, and I told my people, the top people, and they're very good people. I have a lot of good people in that administration. We read about the bad ones. We had some real bad ones, too, and so do they. They have really bad ones. The difference is they don't get rid of them. But let me just explain. I had a choice to make. Do I save it and make it as good as it can be, or do I let it rot? And I saved it. I did the right thing. But it's still never going to be great, and it's too expensive for people. And what we will do is we're looking at different plans. If we can come up with a plan that's going to cost our people, our population, less money and be better health care than Obamacare, then I would absolutely do it. But until then, I'd run it as good as it can be run.
So just a yes or no, you still do not have a plan?
I have concepts of a plan. I'm not president right now. But if we come up with something, I would only change it if we come up with something that's better and less expensive. And there are concepts and options we have to do that. And you'll be hearing about it in the not too distant future.
Vice President Harris, in 2017, you supported Bernie Sanders' proposal to do away with private insurance and create a government-run healthcare system. 2 years later, you proposed a plan that included a private insurance option. What is your plan today?
Well, first of all, I absolutely support, and over the last 4 years as vice president, private health care options. But what we need to do is maintain and grow the Affordable Care Act. But I'll get to that, Lindsay. I just need to respond to a previous point that the former president has made. I've made very clear my position on fracking. And then this business about taking everyone's guns away. Tim Walz and I are both gun owners. We're not taking anybody's guns away. So stop with the continuous lying about this stuff. As it relates to the Affordable Care Act, understand, just look at the history to know where people stand. When Donald Trump was president, 60 times he tried to get rid of the Affordable Care Act. 60 times. I was a senator at the time when I will never forget the early morning hours when it was up for a vote in the United States Senate. And the late, great John McCain, who you have disparaged as being, you don't like him, you said, at the time because he got caught. He was an American hero. The late, great John McCain, I will never forget that night, walked onto the Senate floor and said, no, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't get people with pre-existing conditions. I don't have to tell the people watching tonight, you remember what that was like? Remember when an insurance company could deny if a child had asthma, if someone was a breast cancer survivor, if a grandparent had diabetes? And thankfully, as I've been vice president and we over the last 4 years have strengthened the Affordable Care Act, we have allowed for the first time Medicare to negotiate drug prices on behalf of you, the American people. Donald Trump said he was going to allow Medicare to negotiate drug prices. He never did. We did. And now we have capped the cost of insulin at $35 a month. Since I've been vice president, we have capped the cost of prescription medication for seniors at $2,000 a year. And when I am president, we will do that for all people, understanding that the value I bring to this is that access to health care should be a right and not just a privilege of those who can afford it. And the plan has to be to strengthen the Affordable Care Act, not get rid of it,
Vice
Past is
President
prologue
Harris, thank
in terms
you.
of where Donald Trump stands on that.
I want to move to an issue that's important for a lot
She made
of...
a mistake. Number one, John McCain fought Obamacare for 10 years. But it wasn't only him. It were all of the Democrats that kept it going. And you know what? We can do much better than Obamacare, much less money. But she won't improve private insurance for people, private medical insurance. That's another thing she doesn't want to get. People are paying privately for insurance that have worked hard and made money, and they want to have private. She wants everybody to be on government insurance where you wait 6 months for an operation that you need immediately.
President Trump, thank you. We have another issue that we'd like to get to that's important for a number of Americans, in particular younger voters, and that's climate change. President Trump, with regard to the environment, you say that we have to have clean air and clean water. Vice President Harris, you call climate change an existential threat. The question to you both tonight is, what would you do to fight climate change? And Vice President Harris, we'll start with you. 1 minute for you each.
This should be good.
The former president had said the climate change is a hoax. And what we know is that it is very real. You ask anyone who lives in a state who has experienced these extreme weather occurrences, who now is either being denied home insurance or it's being jacked up. You ask anybody who has been the victim of what that means in terms of losing their home, having nowhere to go. We know that we can actually deal with this issue. The young people of America care deeply about this issue. And I am proud that as vice president over the last 4 years, we have invested $1 trillion in a clean energy economy, while we have also increased domestic gas production to historic levels. We have created over 800,000 new manufacturing jobs while I have been vice president. We have invested in clean energy to the point that we are opening up factories around the world. Donald Trump said he was going to create manufacturing jobs. He lost manufacturing jobs. And I'm also proud to have the endorsement of the United Auto Workers and Sean Fain, who also know that part of building a clean energy economy includes investing in American-made products, American automobiles. It includes growing what we can do around American manufacturing and opening up auto plants, not closing them like happened under Donald Trump.
Vice President Harris,
how to vote.
That didn't happen under Donald Trump. Let me just tell you, they lost 10,000 manufacturing jobs this last month. It's going, they're all leaving. They're building big auto plants in Mexico, in many cases owned by China. They're building these massive plants, and they think they're going to sell their cars into the United States because of these people. What they have given to China is unbelievable. But we're not going to let that. We'll put tariffs on those cars so they can't come into our country, because they will kill the United Auto Workers and any auto worker, whether it's in Detroit or South Carolina or any other place. What they've done to business and manufacturing in this country is horrible. We have nothing because they refuse. You know, Biden doesn't go after people because supposedly China paid him millions of dollars. He's afraid to do it. Between him and his son, they get all this money from Ukraine. They get all this money from all of these different countries. And then you wonder, why is he so loyal to this one, that one, Ukraine, China? Why is he? Why did he get $3.5 million from the mayor of Moscow's wife? Why did she pay him $3.5 million? This is a crooked administration, and they're selling our country down the tubes.
President Trump, thank you.
Thank you.
We'll be right back with closing statements from both of our candidates. An historic night, this ABC News presidential debate from Philadelphia. Back in a moment.
Wow. Okay, so what do you think of that little bit there? I think that, both sides did pretty good. I think Trump is looking pretty good. He's not getting beaten down by her at all. When it came to that little bit of her identity and her, she kind of pulled the race card at that point and then started bashing Trump about, kind of being racist and whatever. So, yeah, that didn't look good to me, like to actually expound upon that and to go back and say that he didn't do stuff and whatever. And I've seen ads that the Dems do too against that, that kind of make it seem like Trump is racist against black people. And I don't know. Maybe he was at some time. Maybe people were at some time because, hey, Trump is a pretty old guy, and times have changed. And I think these days people try not to be racist. That's for sure. And Trump is right. For them to be bringing up stuff like that is like dividing, trying to divide people and using racism to divide people, which I don't think is a good thing to do at all. So that's kind of my take on it. But, how it came about was everyone was trying to decide on what her ethnicity was. But I think it's pretty much should be a non-issue for an election. She, as long as she was born, I guess, in the States, you have to be born in the United States, and citizen, that kind of thing. You should be able to do what you want to do. Run for president. And that's what she's doing. Okay, just watching the screen here to see if they're coming back up again. Getting some ads coming in here. So, yeah, how's everyone else doing there? Who's in there? There's Telescope in there. Hey, Telescope, how you doing? Looks good. Trump is being destroyed tonight. Yeah, well, she is doing well. She is doing well. But so, the bottom line is going to be whether you agree to open borders, people coming in, and, I know the looseness and the inclusiveness of inviting everybody in, but it can come with some detriment, and some of the detriment you're starting to see. Like, I watch a lot of stuff coming out of New York there, where they are showing what the incoming immigrants are doing to the city and what life is like there. And, or they just get a whole gang of them and go into a store and take a bunch of stuff because they don't have any food or whatever. And it's getting pretty serious. And the country is terrible. Like, when I go around my city here into my downtown area here, I see homeless people laying all over the place, right? Especially by Hope Mission or something like that. I see literally hundreds of people. There's maybe thousands of people, all over the whole city that are homeless in my city where I live. And I live in a really far north, cold climate place here. Imagine in warmer places, there are way more people. So, everyone is faced with the offset of too much immigration, stuff like that. Yeah, the other thing is that Trump does have the ability to talk to the people, to the different politicians in the different countries, and to broker some kind of deals with them. And she claims to have talked to leaders, and the leaders say that they don't like Trump and whatever. I don't know. That's kind of petty to even say something like that. What did she talk to? Who did she talk to that said that? Like, why don't you be more specific or something? You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it's a fight and it's a debate, and it's throwing mud at each other and stuff like that. And you're right, Telescope. She is doing a really good job. I'm absolutely surprised. People say, yeah, well, she can read a teleprompter, but can she really, enter into a debate with somebody and win the debate? And she does have the ability to do that. And she has the background. She has the knowledge of the administration that she's with. And, at the end of the day,
live
she
from
is
the
doing
National
a good job.
Constitution Center
Will she
in
be the
Philadelphia,
person that wins?
Pennsylvania.
I don't
Here
know.
again, David Muir and Lindsay Davis.
Welcome back tonight. The time has come for closing statements, and Vice President Harris, we begin with you.
So I think you've heard tonight two very...
We're not ready for it. We can't sacrifice our country for the sake of bad vision. But I just ask one simple question. Why didn't she do it? We're a failing nation. We're a nation that's in serious decline. We're being laughed at all over the world. All over the world, they're laughed. I know the leaders very well. They're coming to see me. They call me. We're laughed at all over the world. They don't understand what happened to us as a nation. We're not a leader. We don't have any idea what's going on. We have wars going on in the Middle East. We have wars going on with Russia and Ukraine. We're going to end up in a third world war, and it'll be a war like no other because of nuclear weapons, the power of weaponry. I rebuilt our entire military. She gave a lot of it away to the Taliban. She gave it to Afghanistan. What these people have done to our country, and maybe toughest of all, is allowing millions of people to come into our country. Many of them are criminals, and they're destroying our country. The worst president, the worst vice president in the history of our country.
President Trump, thank you. And that is our ABC News presidential debate from here in Philadelphia at the National Constitution Center. I'm Lindsay Davis.
And I'm David Muir. Thank you for watching here in the U.S. and all over the world, and from all of us here at ABC News. Good night.
And that is the end of the first presidential debate between these two candidates, Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump. Also likely the only debate we will see in between these two candidates.
Wow. Okay, so definitely some good information there. That was fun. And let me just check something here. Hang on. Okay.
Peter Burns loved that name.
Put that
Hyena
speech back
Harris.
on
I
there
call
again.
Canadian
Stand by one
version
sec.
Hysteria Freeland. LOL. Chick host was okay. Dude was a kook. That debate was a solid representation of a Queen of vs Daisy panel. I'm going to block Brett Christie. I did, but I watched what he did. Let the salt flow. You and D both did. Don't worry about him.
There we go. Back in here again.
He wants attention.
Yeah.
Would Trump
well,
allow his VP to change
so
things in
what did
ways
you think
that
of that?
do not
Well, let's
align
take a look
with
at
his
that poll.
directives? I
First of
think
all, have a
not.
look at the poll.
I could have done way better than Trump. Ron Valtz.
Let's see what the poll looks like.
She did much
Poll
better than Brandon.
is sitting at 62% thought Trump won. Only 38% thought
Trump yelling
Kamala.
at TV, what great again.
So I wonder if my
I
poll
don't
is
know
like
what I was expecting
what it
to
would be
debate, but
like
it was
if
certainly
somebody
more
else
than
had a
that.
poll.
LOL.
We had about 56 votes on the poll.
Ha ha ha.
So yeah, 62% to 38.
Thanks for subscribing. Brett Boyle was groomed by a gay.
No, come on, you guys. That's like ha ha ha. But you know, like not good. Okay, we're gonna end that poll. 61,
Brett, the
62.
hidden heart was on
The
poll
poll
last
is still
night.
fluctuating a little bit there. I see 57 votes. So
Well,
yeah.
FRYTV smoking that stand is affecting your brain. Face green smiling face green
Changing a little
smiling
bit.
face green smiling.
Anyways, I'll
Gay
end the
means
poll.
happy.
Actually, I'll leave it running. What the heck?
Stream Element said that haha. Why are you a New Yorker?
Yeah. So that was a pretty interesting debate. Basically, I'm flabbergasted that she did as well as she did. You know,
Next poll,
honestly,
who's worse,
with all
Biden
the
or
finger
Trudeau?
pointing and everything
Nobody.
else. People were saying that she could read the teleprompter.
Stream
but she
Elements
couldn't-
that S not
couldn't
cool.
debate,
Stop the
but
name calling, please. Brett is an okay guy.
She's pretty
Fry is
good.
in South Africa. My
Intellectual.
smoke
Well, to
turns
be a
into
lawyer,
glass. Ron
you
Valtz.
have had to have gone to
Don't
university,
underestimate the
completed
weak
courses,
and
whatever,
stupid.
and to be a successful lawyer, which apparently she was with whatever she was doing, and she's tough.
Fry is from Turtle Island too.
You have to be a tough person to be a lawyer. And remember, I'm more of a supporter of Trump, but I think that she did a good job, and I think that the Democrats have to be proud
Texas
of her.
million most sad. Brett is aiming
However,
over it all.
I think that her policies suck, and for that reason, you either like her policies and you want to go with the program, and you don't care that you're being flooded with a bunch of people, and
I don't think debate gonna
jobs are
change
being
much,
taken
but let
away,
us
and
see
you
how
don't have a good
MSM
program
spins
for
it.
bringing more jobs
Fry,
into the
unless you are a
country,
New Yorker, you can't
i.e.
match the growth of
sanctions or
Trump.
something, or
Yes,
tariffs
money
on
is your
countries.
god. Spend money now, and it floats.
So there you go.
Daisy is popular. Fry,
She
I
is
know.
popular.
No judgment here. I believe in free speech.
Yeah, exactly. Free speech is a good thing. You know, I believe in free speech too. I'd rather hear from both sides, whether you like Kamala or
I'm definitely
Trump.
hated for knowing too much
And
in regards
everyone
to
has
certain
their
topics. LOL.
opinion, their own
Harris
side.
supports open borders.
But you know, I wouldn't get
Stephanie
into
Barry Brett attacks women.
a bad argument, a heated argument, or something where you feel bad or whatever, or start name calling. You know, and that's just it. People start name calling at each other just because they don't like the fact that
Harris
you're on that
supports
side.
open legs.
Like they'll call you a chud if
You
you're
don't
a
know jack
right
shit,
winger.
Brett.
So I'm apparently a chud. You're a chud.
I'm hardcore Betty
Ron
White.
Volts, and you know, all the rest of you guys are a bunch of chuds. You know, and they go ha ha ha, and they're over there in their little circle calling you a chud, thinking that they're better than you because they are calling you a name and they have a name for you. And they like to label everybody with something. The more labels that they can come up with, while the more they can pat themselves on the back. So I don't know that I'm really into that. I'm not into that crap. I'm into straight shooting kind of stuff whereby, you know, it is what you see that it is, and you're not making up some other crap and trying to label people
LOL,
with
never heard of that
make-believe stuff.
term.
You know, I'm just sick and tired of the make-believe stuff.
Hi Tyson.
I don't know what else to call it.
Lols. The debate
Fluff.
was great. Hey Tyson Hook. Holy hell, it's Tyson in the chat. Hi pal. Fry, you are very good at what you do. Nobody matches a New Yorker. In theory Kamala did okay, but in reality she is a pathetic failure. It's okay, eventually people will get tired of it. Tommy Temper, what is it, Shud? Yawn.
A right winger. A right winger is a chud. So I'm a chud. Everyone that
Bob, I agree she did better than I expected.
believes in conservatism is a chud. Yeah, let's find out what a chud is.
Howdy K9 Fry and Ronnie.
Cannibalistic humanoid underground dweller. Yeah, that's what they think I am. They're like, oh, you're a chud. Oh,
I'm
you're a chud.
left-handed,
Yeah,
right
right.
eye dominate.
Term used in popular culture to refer to fictional creatures or mutilated humans
channel,
living in
drag it out
sewers
in
or
others'
underground.
channels.
Right wingers.
Chud is so 2020. Left-wing spots.
It's true though. Well, it's still used today. Like Anarchy Princess, she would typically use that term, call people a chud. You know,
Yes,
people
Betty White, I
hanging
don't
out at
match. I am
J6ers
more
are all a bunch of
hardcore than
chuds.
a New Yorker. LOL. Yep.
I'm in the basement.
Face green smiling, face
I
green
should actually
smiling,
have
face green smiling. Tommy S studio in basement.
Basement studio.
Hey Tyson. Uga. Brett rants hateful rhetoric. Trump game over.
Okay, let's see if we can come up with that particular theme. Oh yeah, okay. How about this? Hang on. We can make this work.
Fry him LOL. Rumor is Carl is coming for some, feels betrayed. Tommy has explosive diarrhea. But it's okay, Tommy watched, and eventually he will see more of it and be done with it again. Are they still protesting outside of the debate? Chud is old news. LOL Betty White.
Are they still protesting outside of the debate? Here's my basement,
Haven
by the way.
seen Carl in forever
see my
body blue
basement?
raised
Hang on.
arms.
I've got
Much
different
love, Betty
basements.
White.
Let me go through the entourage of basements here. Okay, which basement should I have? This one here. This looks like a pretty good basement.
No, outside seems calm. Did Harris defend democracy
How
tonight?
about this basement.
Fry to you as well.
What was that?
Mutated human living in sewers sounds worse than the ditch LMAO. Reds live by telescope. Any VP debates coming up?
I don't know. Are there any VP debates? There might be. I haven't heard of any. But here we're in
It's a sex
Mom's
dungeon,
basement.
Tommy, OMG.
I'm in the computer in Mom's
Hello,
basement.
Tommy Temper.
How's everyone doing? Hot damn. Hey, how you doing? Nice to see you. Welcome to the dungeon.
VP debate.
After the debate, I've been thrown in the dungeon. Here we go. Here's the next one.
Hot damn.
Ooh, that one looks weird.
Hey, hot damn, Elaine S. Crafting. One scheduled for October.
The basement. We're all in the basement. Oh, here's another basement here.
Bring out the gimp Tommy face, green smiling person turquoise waving text green game over. Hey there, Mater.
Hey,
hi, Elaine.
I was thinking of getting one of those
Christy
things,
VP has diarrhea of the mouth.
One of these things here.
Hello, Fright TV.
The DJ
Mater.
setup.
Looks
and then
like
I could do it
Hunter's
like a
escape
DJ
room.
show, eh? That would be fun.
I see Dr. Jill Stein and Dr. Also presidential candidates are live. I'll keep looking protests. Elaine. A9 Gaming. Hello, hun. Yup, and no friends but two. Door knocker.
Door knocker. Mater.
Betty.
Hey, how's things going? Things are starting
Door knocker. Hello, hun.
to heat up over here.
Auntie, no fun if Holmes can't have none.
That was a pretty hot debate
Too
there
that
tonight.
many.
What do you think? I think that it was burning hot there. Both of them were getting a little hot under the collar. But remember, cook with gas, natural gas.
Betty, maybe. Looks like my dab torch.
I'm on fire. It's kind of hot in the studio
Hello,
tonight.
Betty White, been a while. LOLOLOLOL.
Hang on. Let's
Hot
see what
debate,
else we
that's
can do.
sexist.
Uh-oh. Okay, here we are. We're in the dungeon again.
Wassist.
Studio in the basement there.
LOL.
Minion.
Tyson, there were no sexy people on that debate. Hey Tommy, hey chat.
Yeah. Uh-huh. What's up?
Where he chops the bodies up.
Ooh, that doesn't sound good. And they leave it somewhere. Somewhere there's chopped up bodies. Could be in a place like this.
The whole internet is lived with debate coverage like everyone. LOL. Viva redacted Russell Brand. So many LOL. Rascally wassist. Scumdog.
It was a
Couldn't he watch
racist
the last
debate.
half because agitators want to direct attention to themselves. Should have went to another platform with no BS.
You have to pull out the
I
race
have
card.
small nuts, so
for a
does
bit
that
there.
make me less of a man? Tommy Temper. Debate overkill. Hi Betty White.
Small nuts? I don't know. It depends. I don't think so. I don't think your nuts
Ha ha.
produce
Troy E. Betty.
testosterone. Right?
Fry,
So
what do you consider small?
small nuts would probably be, you know,
Small nuts and
Small,
ball
you know
terrible
what.
combo.
but it may
Fry
not.
TV, my condolences.
But then again, a
My
lack of
small nuts make my bulb
testosterone
look bigger for
might
my
result in
boyfriend
that,
Tommy
so who
Temper.
knows?
I'm gonna remember that word, agitator.
Who knows? I'm not. You know, I'm. You know, like don't take any advice from me as like medical
LOL nuts and
information,
crackers.
or you know, I don't want to get
A real small
medical
fry.
misinformation strike. You know,
Yeah.
for talking to you about
Small
that.
nuts, small dick like Brett.
So you'll have to figure that one out. Go to a doctor. Ask an actual doctor. Okay. Doctor. Can my small nuts make me less of a man? Doctor. Well, it's a matter of opinion. And my opinion's just as good as or bad as the next
Hugh
guy's.
and Ron may as well be the same person. They don't know how to conduct themselves without a constant barrage of attacks. LOL.
Yeah, it was like they were both attacking each
debate.
other. Really, it was.
Small like pecans, minion most sad.
Because, but you know,
You're repeating again, Brett.
You see, Trump had the ability to do better at the attacking because, you know, Biden, you know, and the Democrats were in power, so he had a lot of stuff to pick on, you know. Where she didn't have much to pick on with Trump. She had to go back to stuff like Trump was saying 50 years ago, you know.
Some are just drunkards.
So he was kind of calling her out on that. And honestly, for me, looking at and reading the chat and trying to listen to the program at the same time was
FFS. The hypocrisy
it was so
is
distracting.
Just
it was unbelievable. So it was hard for me to kind of remember everything that they were saying and going on because the chat was kind of, you know.
Tommy Temper, October 1st for Vice President debate.
It was all in one. Everything you guys are saying, everything they were saying, and it was all
explain.
Kind of interesting.
Tommy stating fact is not an attack.
And some people in the chat were saying, hey, that she's winning and she's doing a good job, you know.
Poor Brett, you
some
need
people
a tissue
were
or
all
two.
for Trump, so, you know. But then again, the poll showed, you know, 60% there were for Trump. But then again, I think that most of the audience in here is a little more right-wing than left-wing, but, you know, what the heck. You know, good.
Hello,
actually,
Ron Valtz.
that shows you that there's a
Brett
good
always
mix
needs
of people
a tissue.
in here. Once in a while he does. We're in the basement. No, we're not.
It make me feel better when I can get people to talk about my nuts. Tommy Temper.
Yeah.
Hot damn. LOL. I'm not finding any protest coverage outside the debate currently. Yes, I enjoyed listening along with you, Tommy,
if you
and
find
commenting
it, let me know.
about both candidates the first half.
Actually, let me
I am just a
take
nut
a quick
job,
look here
Tommy
at
Temper.
who's live.
Unblock me nuts, you weirdo.
See if I can come up with something here.
It's early Wonkas.
Yeah, I don't see anyone like Status Quo News or some, you know, one of those organizations that normally
The whole internet is live
out there.
debate coverage. LOL.
Let me just see who all's live right now. See if there's somebody that might potentially be that. But I don't really.
The protesters all went to get Hot Pockets and Pop-Tarts.
Yeah.
Too much debate, I'm worn out.
Yeah, I think I don't see anybody.
What's weirder is Ron would like his nuts blocked. Fry TV, did you ever attend one of the Brett moderated craft channels to make a small nutsack? Tommy show the cat duck eating videos. I'm looking forward to the VP debate. I want to hear about Wall's China connections. You can watch JLYNN and her husband protest the Palestinian protest they do regularly. Most sad is the bed for sure, maybe Troy. Really nuts. Betty White agree. It's crazy.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything live coming out of that location.
Hello, Tommy Temper. I came in to give a thumbs up.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, everyone give a thumbs up to the stream if you could. If you haven't done so, I know a lot of you have, but if you haven't, I even gave the stream a thumbs up.
Yes, Ron.
32.
Hello,
Appreciate
crafting
that.
and coffee with Kelly.
Kelly's in there.
Nuts.
Hey, Kelly, good to see you.
Ever heard of Plan B? She is in the draconian age. You will need IVF from all the scar tissue anyway. Take responsibility for your sex life. Those people can go home on their own land during their own war and protest their own people. Kelly.
I never heard of Plan B. I've heard of Plan B from outer space.
Passes the dobby to Kelly Cal.
I should have
Hello,
two cameras
Elaine.
in here. Oh, maybe I do have two cameras in
Kelly.
here. Hang on.
Hello, Kelly. Shuga.
Oh, wrong one.
Yes, nuts and crackers, they could not make a sack small enough for my nuts, so I was sad and had to cry on my boyfriend's shoulder. Tommy, do you recommend Viagra? Lord bless the weirdos and weirdness, amen. Hey, nuts.
Okay. There we go. Oh, I need a little
Fry
tweak.
finally spitting truth.
Tweak up here.
Balls for
Hang on.
30 years vacation in China, and China paid their way. That's where he took his honeymoon at. Fry TV, you should have came to the Tommy Temper chat and cried. Tommy, let us fact check the debate.
Yeah, boo-hoo. Hang on, I'm trying to adjust my chroma key right now. So if you see my hat looking kind of fuzzy or something, there we go.
Searching live feeds,
better.
only one I'm seeing live with any protest coverage is Hindustan Times. I have no idea. LOL. HTTPS www.youtube.com live BS4R4 Co 6 MK8 SIE 6 Ekernothen 5 KCEG.
Wow.
LOL. Money is your god, spend money now, and yes, I spit on it first. Passing it back to you, most sad. You fit right in this channel, weirdo.
Oh,
Hey, Kelly.
he's live, yeah, but are they
LOL
showing
nuts and crackers.
showing it outside?
Who cares?
I'll take a look at that link.
Tommy,
there,
do you recommend man's cape? Hariss, one hand down.
Man, you could shave.
I'm coughing.
I don't know. You shave whatever
Prove
the hell you
me
want
wrong.
to shave. I don't care what you want to shave. Me, I just shave my face and my head.
Hello, Christy B.
But my head, I just use like a really short razor, like a dog shaver. You know what I mean? Yeah, Minion. Fact check
Hello,
that
Ron.
debate. Let's find out what's going on there. Let me go through here. Stand by. Let me do a quick search on that, and we will get right to that. As a matter of fact, let me move over here. There we go. I'm in the basement, by the way.
Most sad, getting a little personal with all the TMI.
Ooh-wee.
Do you use on your knuckle hair?
I don't... Well, I just have a little bit of hair. I don't use anything on it.
Wrong, I take back what I said about you, weirdo face, green smile face, green smiling face, green smiling. Protect pets.
Okay, here we go.
ABD body, blue raised arms.
We're going to be
Seems like everyone else in their
fact-checking the
feed feeds
debate
tonight,
claims.
LOL.
And we're going to pull this. You could do this from anywhere. I'll go from
Is that
CB,
your casting couch, Tommy?
Hang on. I'm under Fox News. Hang on.
No
Let me pull it
illegal
from
go
Fox.
to
Hang
eat
on.
pets. Another
the
shooter
Fox?
in Kentucky. Tommy
Uh-oh.
offers good life advice. Oh, really?
Let me find the Fox News one.
Thanks
Or
for
which one is a
subscribing,
good one?
Joshua P.
Debate. Fact check. New York Times.
425 watch,
Is the New York
76
Times
likes.
a good
Let's
place
go.
to fact check?
Pornhub is a good channel.
Politico.
K9 really where?
MSNBC. I'm looking for Fox News. I can't come up with Fox.
420.
Okay, let's go New York Times. I wonder if they'll hit debate live updates. Harris put Trump on defensive and kept him there. Ooh, they're like
69.
pro Kamala.
Yo, most sad year 1,776 rate.
Okay, when Donald
Clark
Trump was
County.
president, 60 times he
Not
tried
yet
to get rid of
Mossad.
the Affordable Care Act.
And
60 times. That's
K9,
false.
I hope not. That's awful.
False.
New
Trump
York
did not
Times
try to
is
get
very
rid
liberal.
of their,
Groomed by a gay, ha ha ha
Affordable
ha
Care
ha ha,
Act.
explains a lot. No see, but I hung a bit in their channels. Shooter on highway, not sure if it's same guy. K9, who is showing it?
The Trump campaign officials and surrogates in the spin room have been hammering the ABC News, arguing that the moderators were biased and did not try to fact-check any of Harris's statements or press her on any issues. Asked about Trump seeming to be on the defensive,
sometimes.
they said, well,
Is it to the
I think
shooting?
absolutely was. And again, part of it is that it was a 3-on-1 in the debate. Did you see that? Did you think that? That everyone was kind of against Trump on the debate? He lost manufacturing jobs is the other one.
Did Super American Santa ever
It
come
needs
back
context.
to American?
Not necessarily true.
They always bias. ABC moderators showed their true
Hariss,
colors.
we have created over 800 new manufacturing jobs. Misleading. Since he took office, seasonally adjusted manufacturing jobs was increased by 700,000.
Male host was biased. Rumor is you and Al TC are business partners at flea market. Who's CA?
And then there's an Obamacare quote from Trump that apparently is false. Trump did not save health insurance law known as Obamacare. Trump said, all I can say is I read where she was not black that she put out. And I'll say that, and then I read that she was black, and that's okay.
Are weird.
Either one was okay with me. False. Neat. It's unclear what Trump read. What? It's unclear what Trump said, but Vice President Kamala Harris is always identified as black and South Asian. I thought it was East Indian. Her time in public office. Harris wrote in her 2019 memoir that my mother understood very well that she was raising 2 black daughters. There you go. What else? Kamala Harris. As of today, there is not one member of the United States military who is in active duty in a combat zone
Best line of
in
the
any
night,
war zone around the world
against
for
Joe
the first
Biden, you're
time
running
this
against
century.
me. Kamala said January 6th
No,
was worse than 9/11.
U.S. troops are fighting in
tongue
all
out face, fuchsia tongue
wars.
out face, fuchsia tongue out face, fuchsia
Like the
tongue
one
out
in
face,
Iraq,
fuchsia tongue out face,
Afghanistan.
fuchsia tongue out face, fuchsia tongue out.
Thousands of American
Trump
troops have
his
become entangled in hostilities around the Middle East since the October 7th Hamas attacks. And she says, as of today, there is not one member of the United States military who is in active duty in a combat zone in any war zone around the world for the first time in this century. Oh,
Everyone paid their wrench dues.
False.
Tommy, who is raising 2 black daughters. CAL hates me, I'm banned
Apparently,
NTC.
that's what it says here about her mother.
Black people do not claim Kamala Harris. She is a weak woman and a fraud. Lou, me
She must have
too.
a sister.
I know nuts he leeches off ABD. Thanks
Okay,
for my
here's another one by
mate.
Kamala. Over the last 4 years, we have invested $1 trillion in a clean energy economy.
But what about tin?
Misleading. The current administration has facilitated a burst of private investment because of tax credits and other incentives included in the Inflation Reduction Act passed
Face
in
green
2022.
smiling face green smiling face green smile. Oh, sad. Scummy. Thank you.
Energy investment since 2021 has totaled roughly $700 billion. Some experts expect the clean energy incentives to eventually help drive more than $1 trillion in private investment. She's using that term $1 trillion, and it's not $1 trillion.
Can January 6th even begin to be compared to 911? Come on, tell me. Yes, nuts. There goes you alimony money, Betty. Ron, no one leeches off me. LOL, what an idiot you are.
Trump concludes by calling Harris the worst vice president in the history of our country. Trump got the final word on the closing because of a coin flip. But from my experience, closing statements don't mean a lot. Okay.
Father does not say he
Adam.
He says he is Hindu and Jamaican. Thank you for my VIP ticket.
Trump responds with a catch-all
LOL.
retort to Harris's plans, noting
Damn it, Ron.
that
I
she's
heard
now in
about it, but I
office.
missed
Why
it.
hasn't
Gonna
she
need
done
to
it
catch
already?
a clip. Classist.
In a closing statement, Harris describes her campaign as one focused on the
Hi,
future
scum.
and Trump's as fixated on the past. Yeah, well, she better be talking about the future because the present is not a great place. Need change. You know, why do you think people need change right now? Are you happy with the way things are right now? If you are, then you vote for
K9
her.
Gaming.
If you're not happy
Chat
with the way
donos
things
are
are right
proof
now,
the
well, then you
economy
better
is
vote
just
for
fine.
Trump. You don't have any other choice. Simple. This is not rocket science here. And, you know, if you're voting for Kamala because you like genders and fluff and stuff like that, that really doesn't run a country.
Inflation is horrible.
It's, you know,
God
it's out
spent
there, and
money.
hey, you want us to know about you
Trump
and all the rest
has
of
all
that stuff, but
hands.
it doesn't run the country. You need somebody to get in there that's going to do something, not put tampons into the washrooms and stuff like that. You want somebody that's going to be a tough guy and going to deal with the countries that are warring right now, that are costing lives of people all over the world, you know, that are fighting in these wars. Unbelievable.
Close our borders
Stop the
and
war.
send back the illegal immigrants. Let us stop pretending fast food is too expensive. Take free tampons and sell them cheap.
Yeah.
Ms. Harris dug up crap from 40 YRS ago. Interesting, she thinks that is the future. Tell Poop supports tampons in the bathroom too.
Woo.
Trump
Hey,
tried to
thanks a
give
lot for
Putin
the
a
super
BJ.
chats, everyone. I was over on the other screen there for a little bit, and I missed out on that. Wow.
Do you not go shopping? Body blue raised arms.
We got Ron Volts with the $10 super chat. Thanks a lot, Ron. I do appreciate that.
She protects illegals, not U.S. citizens.
And Stephanie Berry.
LOL, Tommy, we
with another
covered this
super chat
earlier.
today. Appreciate
In
that.
any event, you can
Stephanie
complain
Berry.
about elites until we
both
are
of you
blue
great
in the
supporters
face.
of the
Power
channel.
must be taken.
Lots of people out there are good supporters
Stephanie
of the channel. I
too,
do
Tommy.
appreciate that.
The immigrant situation has been manufactured on purpose and being used for propaganda purposes. Tommy making bang tonight. Keep voting LOL.
Looking good.
Who's your daddy?
Oh, yeah.
It's time to kick ass and chew bubble gum, and I am all out of gum.
Very nice, Ron and
That's
Stephanie.
right. Let's start
Andy
now.
Brett. NWOUN Global
Get this
Migration
fight
Pact.
started.
Trump skates away from the challenge.
Wow. It's like let's play a few sound effects out here. Where's Trump? We need Trump in here for the win. Where's Trump?
It's called fake news. Fake news. You are fake news.
Okay.
It's all fake news.
Send them back.
Fake news. It's phony stuff. It didn't happen.
It didn't happen.
It's all fake news.
That's right. Don't believe the mainstream media. Okay.
I don't use money to try.
You better come
and
over
bribe
to
people,
social
influence
media to
people,
find
or
out what
use
the
to
real
gain
story
favor.
is here.
Keep your human zoo to yourself, thank you. I for one welcome our new UN overlords. Please wear blue helmets so I will know who to assist. Brett, you do not live in the United States. You do not know how all of these illegals coming into our country are harming us. Shut up.
That's right. No, they're coming into Canada too.
It's all fake news. It's phony stuff.
Brett.
It didn't happen.
And they're even coming in here illegally. Look at the very latest one was a guy from Pakistan that came into Canada, and he hatched a plan to go into the United States, and he was thwarted before he made it into the United States. But he was going in to attack a Jewish facility of some sort. That happened, I think, just yesterday or something. Today.
Tell us, Tommy.
Very, very recent news. So yeah, it's happening in Canada too, where people are coming in here through the borders and whatever.
Dope broke.
In fact, there are some people that come in through the American border and the South, right through the States, right into directly into Canada. So, you know, people know that both borders are loose, like a caboose.
Nope, you just use other people's platforms to spread your hateful shit. Seen it too many
We've
times.
got the same governments in Canada as you have in the States right now. We have like a Democrat, what we call liberal government up here in Canada, but it's the same as your Democrat liberal government down there. They have the same idealism, the same goals, the same. It's almost like they're.
Whoa, some say Brett knows all.
Like they're being molded by the Marxism, like the Marxists of the world. You know what I mean? They want us to be more Marxist. They like they like, you know, the union is like pro-union, absolutely pro-union. That's where all the unions, tell their members to vote.
So many times,
right? Vote left. Which I don't think is right. I don't think a union should be influencing what party that somebody votes for. Like, really, and it's the same in the States as it is anywhere in Canada. But the unions go with the program. We tell you to vote Democrat, vote Democrat. They're the guys. They're on our side. We're on their side. We're together. Let's go. You know what I mean? And they're like, yeah. You know, and I've got friends.
She's on the highway.
I've got one friend that's like he works in doing boilers and stuff like that, taking boilers apart. So he goes to these huge factories and plants and stuff like that.
I know vote red.
He is so lefty. It's unbelievable how much he's being brainwashed by his union. Unbelievable. And once they're brainwashed, that's it. It's really hard to
the immigration
convert
situation is a
somebody that's brainwashed back. You know what I mean?
Propaganda to guide the masses. It has been being done on purpose and for a purpose. Scam
and
so much.
You know, there are people out there that want to shut down my channel, that report my channel all the time for every little detail that happens on here. So keep in mind that my channel might not be around. You know, I talk about stuff that's pretty sensitive.
I just like to support people that put out excellent content. It costs them money, and I respect that and appreciate Tom. I just want to help him cover his costs.
We interrupt this program for a special news bulletin.
Tommy, there is porn on one of the screens on your background.
Sounds good.
The Army Air Forces has announced that a flight...
Hang on, there's no porn on that screen.
Illegals coming into our country.
But if there was, I never noticed it.
Should be your daughter or your son that they are murdering, and then you will figure it out, right?
That's right.
Yep, the know-it-all. CA is Winter Soldier.
We interrupt this program
for that, LOL.
Where's Biden?
I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
Oh, he's still around. Holy moly. I thought he was like long gone.
Do you suffer from a lack of a father figure?
Being done on purpose and for a purpose.
Uh-oh. Okay, we're going sideways with the show.
I'm sexy and I know it.
Aha. Let's go.
Tommy, what do you recommend for anal warts?
Anal warts, I would recommend a little bit of mayonnaise mixed with Vagisil. That might do it.
I'm sexy and I know it.
Okay. Next question. It's Dr. Mr. Ruth here. Hello. Aha. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Nobody cares what Taylor Swift does. Shut the fuck up.
Feels so good. Oh, yeah. This is Daisy's song. Where is Daisy? Probably live.
Really
I think Queenie's live right now, too, by the way. Can you top that song? That's a really hard one to top. What? Hey, all the fun has to end at some time, you know. Okay. Oh, the movie's just starting. I didn't vote for Trudeau. Don't blame me. It wasn't my fault. It was all of those lefties out there that voted for Trudeau and got him in power. And he's bankrupting the country.
It's anti-LOL. Entity is not a word. Next time you try to belittle someone, maybe use Google or spell check LOL.
That's right.
play God Bless America, Tommy.
High school dropouts know nothing about politics.
Nothing about politics.
Oh yeah, that's right. Welcome to the stream. All of my friends out there. Okay. Wahali? Wahali salam alaikum. Hang on. This is still the same song that I always used to love.
Love and
marriage,
they go together like a horse
Just
and
shaking my head.
Hey,
Pass the gunga.
I like it.
It's MH. All the potheads vote for True. DP is a
Potheads.
pothead though. Albini.
Okay, we need another sound. Next sound effect. You guys are funny. Funniest people around. Oh yeah.
Later weirdos.
This is the most overused sound effect ever. Yeah. Okay. That one is pretty well used too. How about this one?
What the dog doing?
I like that one.
What the dog doing?
That one I've used a lot. Come on.
What the dog doing?
Dog doing. And then there's Brett's song. I've altered Brett's song from, the real song to the modified song. But it's still Brett's song. Brett, this is your song. Oh, blast my eardrums out.
That's
and
loud.
once again, I'm located in
dog promise I won't eat it.
In that
Then
place.
I know I just can't wrap my head around some things that all you can do is shake your head.
And I remember everything that I
Stop,
say
Make it stop, make it stop.
is approved.
Sounds very Weasley.
A message from the government of Canada.
Aha. That's where I am.
Later, Tommy, have a good one, everybody.
Up here in Canuckland.
F up song.
Later, scum.
I like original song.
Later.
Brett is loud.
Hey, there's the Spoon Queenie song.
OMG.
Spoon and Queenie were fighting over this song, so.
You can't touch this.
Shout out to Spoon and Queenie.
You can't touch this.
Christy B, yep, make it make sense, please. Night scum.
Night scum. Good night, scum. Good night, scum. Good night. Okay, you can count chickens tonight. Jumping over the fence. It's chicken. Oh, yeah. Have a good night. Aha. Bye, scum.
Hurts my head.
What's coming up next? I don't even know what's coming up next. I know what they are, but I only after I hear them. Okay, next up. Whoa. Look out. Could be something crazy happening. By the way, my soundboard is out of service.
That song should be 12th Man's.
12th Man.
Do
Which
the
song?
illegal played this when hitting pets.
Oh, this one. 12th Man's. Yeah. That should be 12th Man's song. Okay. We'll give that one to him. Oh, yeah. The clown song. It's like a clown show. Over here. It's more of a clown show when I have a panel, than like this. It's like this. It's like somewhat civil, He had chickens. Oh, he doesn't have chickens anymore? Killed them all?
Yeah, boy!
Oh, man. I'd hate to be a chicken over on 12th Man's
Thanks
trailer.
for subscribing. Brett Boyle is a poor loser.
He's got a chicken trailer.
Look up Nova High Audio earrings, same earrings Kamala was wearing.
Miravan. Oh, Nova High Audio earrings. What? I don't know. That sounds weird to me.
12th Man here, boy, has he changed.
Strange. Yeah, 12th Man. I heard him on another panel. He's associating with some other guys now on another panel. I saw him over there. So, it's kind of a clown show over there.
Green smiling face, green smiling face, green smiling. LOL.
Who's your daddy?
It's time to kick ass and chew bubble gum.
Okay.
I'm all out of gum.
Okay.
Disc has been found. And
by the way, I sit on the stand.
This one here is bad. Okay, let's listen. No, I don't want to listen to that one. That's a bad Biden one. Bad boy Biden.
I'm sexy and I know it.
Okay, that's better. Now we're back on track again.
Rip Darth Vader. Hi, Christy B. Wall definitely for Trump.
They're not on program. Oh,
Hi,
wow.
Ren, how are you doing, hun?
That guy's really
To
getting
anyone
into it
the
in
path,
that song
Francine,
there.
Please be safe.
Yeah, okay. Anyone in the path of Francine? Oh, there's a new hurricane happening. Oh, no. What are we going to do about it? Hurricane Francine. We need to do something.
You can't touch this.
It's getting monotonous. Okay. That's my main soundboard. This one here. I can show you here. This one here is broken.
Betty, is Troy doing okay?
I push a button and it doesn't do anything.
Hey,
and it
should
goes
be
broken.
safe.
And I have to
It missed
reboot
you
my
as Betty
computer
got
to
a
make it
little
work.
rain.
So
Everyone keep Ren and Troy in
I'm
prayers
limited.
for staying safe.
okay, let's do some. Oh, I could do more songs
how
and whatever,
Troy.
but I could. But then my stream
Well,
would
to be happy that the
get
hurricane is
permanently
no longer
deleted.
in my path.
And it's kind of an interesting stream here today. Kind of turned out quite well with the Trump thing.
Yeah, where is Troy?
I like the fact that that we watched the entire episode, the entire debate, and
Ren, didn't he know you were
it'll be interesting to see what
Christy B, I
the
have no idea. I do hope he is.
different TV
I'm
stations
looking for the
say
feeds.
about
It's
the
all
debate.
just post-debate talk.
Let me just do a quick search on that,
It's
okay?
supposed to hit tomorrow, right, Ren?
The debate fact check. Okay, we'll just go debate.
Hey, Betty White, thanks.
Debate.
Oh, okay,
live,
thank God you are fine, Ren.
Debate win. Winner. Okay, poll. WFLA. This is Los Angeles.
Hey,
Did
nine,
a
yes,
poll
Mom,
on the debate. And let's see, what are they saying on who won the debate? That's what I want to know. Harris campaign promptly calls
Hey,
for
nine,
another
gaming is
debate
going
against
to hit
Trump,
sometime
apparently.
tomorrow. So far, I'm on the good side of it.
Trump refused to say he would veto a national abortion ban. Sparred over Project 25. Trump said that he has nothing to do with Project
I
25,
hope
and I've
Troy
heard him
is
say that
okay.
before. So why the hell she would even bring that up? I have no idea. Border crisis, yes. Border crisis is a crisis. Police, no local reports of pet being
When
eaten
Trump
in
wins,
Springfield.
wait for the real J6.
So there's some lore, right? Was that just a, like the apartment buildings being taken over where it's just an internet piece of garbage? The reports of pets being eaten in Springfield.
Well, I pray it stays that way, Ren.
Which, Trump should know better than to talk about
2025 is a
little
real
things like that.
project.
And he should have better advisors. Honestly, even I know what stuff is a hoax out there, and then I see Trump talking about it, and I go, oh my God, we already know that that's being
Me too.
dispelled, whatever, debunked.
Ren, last I heard was Baton Rouge. Chris B. smiling face with hearts. Trump
In Politico, early on in the debate, Dems think he's winning.
Hey, Tommy and chat. So you don't have a plan?
Says here,
Time
Kamala
is
Harris
closed.
started swinging and she didn't stop. So Politico is, looking like they like Harris in the debate. Vibe check, early on in the debate, Dems think Harris is winning.
President, Prime Minister aren't the ones in control. LOL.
In the first 30 minutes of the debate, Donald Trump and Kamala Harris clashed primarily over the economy and
Sweeter
abortion.
chick, yes.
Democrats, for their part, are
Trump won
positively
hands down.
gleeful watching Harris. So far, they feel she's performing strongly, particularly by attacking Trump for his positions on abortion and baiting him into talking about his crowd sizes.
Harris hands down.
Come on. Everyone knows that Trump gets huge crowd sizes. What is she trying to say? That he doesn't get huge crowd sizes? I know that I've seen her with a huge crowd. You know what I mean? And she goes to the DMC. Yeah, there's a huge crowd or whatever. Almost certainly the longest conversation ever about abortion. Excitement stands in stark contrast for Democrats who were distraught over President Joe Biden's performance last June.
He won closing statement for sure.
Yeah, he probably did. Harris articulated her position on abortion. This whole thing is all abortion, 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 abortion. This Politico. And I think that Politico must be a left-leaning
Biden in the White House
organization.
I've
never really looked too much at it.
Interviews.
What does CNN
Kamala
say?
Filled 2 stadiums on same day, not Trump.
Harris sets a tone.
Oh, Ren, we don't need a powwow
Trump
for that.
indulges in conspiracy theories. This is CNN. Fierce argument over abortion, a key issue for both candidates.
Oh, BS Bob.
Trump takes the bait over and over. This is what CNN says. Vice President casts Trump as out for himself. So, a total bashing of Trump here by CNN. I'm not really reading the...
Okay.
I'm just reading the titles of the different segments here.
That was a football game.
Everyone, seems like mainstream left-wing media is looking like Harris won the debate. So I don't know what you think about that. But that's what we're finding. Stephanie Berry, thanks a lot. And Ron Volz.
CNN Communist News Network.
And who else was there?
Insights, my condolences for the loss of you, mother-in-law. I know you two very close.
We also had Spoon, who donated to me. So thanks a lot for everyone that donated. Appreciate that. And I think that we're going to end the stream because I've been live for 3 hours and 42 minutes. That was a long one. I'm used to long streams and stuff like that, but honestly, it's turned out pretty good. I appreciate everyone giving their comments, especially in the
Lorenzo, can you
chat
in your community
after the fact to hear what everyone had to say,
Troy,
and during the event. It was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. But like any fun time, everything good has to come to an end.
Take the money and run. And after Katrina, it's just a
I think I'll go out
now.
And
boy.
Yeah, we'll have fun. Something will happen. Anyways, I appreciate any donations on the stream here. That was great. And you have a good evening. And yeah, we all watched it together. And I don't know, will it affect the election? I don't know. I guess we'll see. But I think it was pretty even Steven.
Smiling face, green.
But I still like Trump's
LOL, Betty
policies,
White.
Right? Better than the policies of Kamala, which is basically it's run the economy just the way it is right now, and not make too much of any difference. But I think you're going to have trouble with the electric cars because the companies are even saying poo-poo. We don't want to go all electric. We want to go back to gas. We're not making money on electric cars, and they're really
going to cause too much damage.
Pulling the punches on what's going to happen. So government's going to have to backtrack, and Trump has said he is going to backtrack. He will say, no, we're not going to force you to buy an electric car. Buy whatever the hell you want. And drill, baby, drill. With that, good evening, everyone. Yeah, last words, everyone, as we pull out of here. I'll give you guys a couple of minutes, and I'll get out of here. Bye-bye, everyone.
Woo! I meant the butt stuff, gay. Closing statements. Drill, baby, drill. Ren, I'm hoping it moves through quickly. But some girls like that body blue raised arms. When did anyone vote for Kamala to be their representative as a presidential candidate for the Democrat Party?
That's right, Frosty. Nobody did. Nobody did. That's a good point. The Democrat Party is not very democratic, is it? when they don't even vote Kamala in. They just sort of push her from the presidency into that position without an actual vote from all of the members of the party. It was the money. The money at the top end, the big money is who pushed her into the position. So blame the big money. They're the ones that actually did the voting for the Democrat Party. You know, shame on them.
Randy, Betty, K9, and Ron, and anyone I missed, have a good night. Night, Tommy.
Good night, everyone.
Have a good one.
See you all later. Take care. Stay out of trouble. And if you can't stay out of trouble, hey, name it after me. Woo! And we're out of here like a dirty shirt. Bye-bye, everyone.
Troy, stay safe here. Oh, and Zori Burl. 911, never forget. So Biden at least got some Ron balls. LOL. Trump has to accost women to even think of possibly getting in.
Night, ladies, and my ex. Right on.